Welcome back. I hope you all were okay. We've been apart for 30-ish minutes. I hope you all survived. Yeah. So, I gotta talk about this show. So what I was hoping to be able to do was pull up the show on Netflix and then just like skip around to the I wouldn't even play the scenes. I would just like have the show on a screenshot basically of the section that I wanted to talk about. But today I learned that Netflix has like an anti-screen sharing thing on where I will be able to see the thing, but OBS just picks it up as a black box. There's just nothing there. So because of that, I'm going to hope that we can get through some of this with YouTube and other workarounds. I don't know. I'm kind of just doing this off the top of my head. Kind of just winging it here. So one thing that I gotta say right off the bat. Also, hello again, Taco Master. I think that season 2 of Arcane suffers from the same problem. Now, granted, this isn't the only problem that this other show had at this point, but it suffers from a similar problem as Game of Thrones Season 8. Almost identical. Just had to deactivate Chrome's hardware acceleration that deals with Netflix DRM. Really? How do you do that? System? Use graphics acceleration when available? That's wildly bad tech. Okay, wait. So I immediately got distracted with a potential fix, and I didn't actually explain what I meant there. What I mean when I say that. I'm not comparing the actual quality of Season 2 of Arcane to Season 8 of Game of Thrones. Let me get that out there. It is one aspect that they share, and that is Game of Thrones was originally planned to be 10 seasons, and they cut it down to 8. They tried to ram 3 seasons worth of content into 8 episodes, or 6 episodes, or whatever the fuck. Arcane was supposed to be 5 seasons, and they cut it down to 2. And they did that. As far as this is literally just speculation. I figure they did that because they wanted to do a whole bunch of spin-offs, and they didn't want to continue this one story. Here, let me see if this actually works. And one of the best, one of the most, okay, so this is still muted. Yes, it is still muted. Now let's find out. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. I'm not going to leave it up all the time because I don't, I don't actually want to also enjoy it. I wildly disagree. Wildly disagree with your take. That's fine. Like, we can disagree and we can have a conversation. That's kind of one of the reasons that I'm live streaming this and not just making it a video, is so that we can, do we know that it was supposed to be 5 and not Netflix gave them 2 and they hoped they would get more? From what I've heard, it was confirmed that they were supposed to get 5. And then they cut it down to 2 for whatever reason. Like, I have not dug deep into that, so I could be wrong, but that is what that is the information that I have. So like that's what I'm saying. I could very much be wrong. I can't even remember where I heard that. But it wasn't just one place. It was like, I don't remember where I've heard it. I know that isn't EFAP. They're probably one of the people that I heard it from, but I haven't even seen all of their coverage of it. I don't know. Even if that's not the case, season 2 is incredibly rushed. They cram so much. Okay, so here they introduce basically multiverse and alternate realities for one episode, and then they forget about it. It's just never fucking mentioned again. It's dense. It's crammed. There's so much happening, and there's so few, like, the character moments in season 2 are almost non-existent. Characters do things that are wildly contradictory to the characters that they were in season 1 without anything causing them to change their characters to where they are now. Where they were in season 1 and where they are now is, like, a lot of them are just, like, wildly different characters. Heimerdinger is one of the worst examples. Heimerdinger is incredibly damaged. He's barely a character in season 2. He's barely in season 2. Jace does a whole lot of really dumb stuff. Oh god. Why am I blanking on her name? Melmom. What's her name? Why can I not think of her name? Ambessa. Ambessa does a lot of dumb shit in season 2. She actively assists in an assassination attempt of Jace when she requires Jace. Heimer completes his arc. You call it nonsensical. Heimerdinger never once inquires about the well-being of the council, people that he knew for years. People that he knew for years. And he just doesn't care. Never once asks about them, never once has a conversation, never mentions the fact that they got shot with a rocket. And if we're just talking strictly about Heimerdinger, he goes to an alternate dimension. Him and Echo. Fuck it. I'm just going to talk about that because that's one of the episodes that I hate the most. I hate the alternate reality episode. I think it damages Echo and Heimerdinger's characters horrifically. And it has, this is another comparison that I'm going to make. It has similar issues with Wonder Woman 1984. The people Echo existed, they voted him out, their funeral passes, he was working to better Zon, the place he neglected. That doesn't mean that he just doesn't care about these people anymore. He doesn't, at the end of season 1, he doesn't even seem to really hold it against them that they voted him out. I believe the line is something along the lines of, I can't, I'm not even going to try to quote the line, but there is a line that basically infers that he is like, well, maybe my time has passed here. He doesn't hold it against them. He doesn't hate them for voting him out. Just because we don't get a scene with him at their funeral doesn't mean he doesn't care. He doesn't ask Jace about them. He's talking to Jace, and he never once acts like he never once has that conversation. That is a conversation that needs to happen. If it doesn't, that damages his character. You can't just skip that conversation. That is something that he should have a huge amount of interest and concern about. And he just doesn't. Just 8 and 9 aren't that good, but the rest is pretty great. But let me talk about the alternate reality one. Okay, so the reason that I despise the alternate reality episode is A, it doesn't need to happen. You don't need to go to an alternate reality to accomplish what is accomplished in that episode. We'll live 3,000 years if he fucking cares about politics. Well, that's what I'm saying, is he should care about the people that he worked with for years, that he knew for years. It doesn't matter that he's 3,000 years old. He still cares about individual people. He's not one of those, like, super long-lived elves or whatever that are just like, you're just a fucking, you know, you're a gnat, you're gonna die in 2 days. Of course I hate episode 7. Yeah, I do. Now, I will be completely open about my bias. I hate multiverse stuff. I hate alternate reality stuff. I think it damages the stakes and cares about the kids, cares about people. He cares about people in general. Heimerdinger cares about people. At least he does in season 1. EFAP, Nerdrotic, and Muller are a mind virus on me now. I mean, you're free to have that opinion. No, he cares about. I keep getting distracted. He cares about people. So, when they go into the alternate dimension, right? They get sucked into the alternate dimension. What happens? Do they show up in their bodies? No. Is this an NPC talking about points you heard on the podcast? No, because I haven't even watched the entirety of that podcast. I don't know what they say about half of this stuff because I haven't seen it. For an opinion on your own? That's a really that's great good faith takes that you're having right there, my dude. Just assuming that I didn't have any of these thoughts before they were implanted in my head. That's a good faith take. I appreciate you arguing in good faith and just immediately assuming that everything that I'm saying I'm just parroting from other people. Okay. So, when they get to the alternate reality, they take over the lives of themselves in that alternate reality. Now, Echo and Heimerdinger are both compassionate characters. I just talked about how Heimerdinger cares about people. He should care about the other him that he has taken the place of. Where did the other Heimerdinger go? Where did the other Echo go? They just vanish while their bodies are being possessed by a foreign creature, basically. The Lost in episodes 8 and 9. Just go 100% with Victor. Okay. I probably am not going to talk about episodes 8 and 9 a whole lot. Because I had kind of checked out at that point. I was not giving the show the attention that it deserved. Like, even if I don't like it, I was not giving it the attention it deserved to really talk about those episodes that much. I've already seen clips of things from those episodes that I do not remember whatsoever. So I am going to talk about the points that I remember clearly, that I know clearly. And if there is counter evidence, please let me know. But I do remember being like the ending was a bit. Did Wonder Woman? Yes. Yeah, that's why I mentioned at the beginning of this that it has something in common with Wonder Woman 1984. Echo takes over the life of his alternate self. He takes over the life of his alternate self. Heimerdinger does the same. Neither of them mention this. These other versions of themselves had lives before they got there. They did not just spawn into this world. They took over the bodies of other people. They did not clarify with the people around them, I am not the person that you know. Yes, Echo says similar things to that multiple times. Yes, he does. He does not, however, put forth the effort to make people understand, I am not being hyperbolic here. I am not exaggerating. I am literally a different version of myself from a different reality that has very little to do with this one because of one very specific thing that went very differently in the past. And because of this, he has the whole romantic thing with Powder in that universe. She believes that he's a different person. The fact that Echo is apparently okay Heimer said not to talk about it when he first met Echo. Why? Does he give an actual reason, or does he just say don't talk about it? Because if he just says don't talk about it, that's damaging Heimerdinger, because he should also care that he should also, like, this is lying to everybody. This is literally lying to everybody and pretending to be somebody that you're not. They are literal imposters. Both of them should care about this. Neither of them really talk about it. And if that is an actual line that I missed, I could pull up episode 7. Oh god, okay. I just saw the title of episode 7, pretend like it's the first time. That's such a gross line. That's such a gross line in the context that it's said. Like, he's telling this to Jinx as she's about to kiss him. He's like, pretend it's like the first time that we did this. Still lying to her, still pretending to be somebody that he's not. Still taking advantage of the feelings that she has for a different person that is not him. That's fucked. That's fucked up. That's a really fucked up thing to do. And Echo, as he is portrayed, would not do that shit. It's called interpretation, bro. He doesn't care about his, like, something that important. You can't leave out. You can't leave to interpretation. Something as important as no, you're fine. You're fine. You can't leave something as important as we have taken over the lives of our other selves. That needs to be a conversation that he has with Heimerdinger. They have to talk about this. He has to come to terms with this. It's not something that he just does off screen, which is something that happens a lot in this season, unfortunately. Because the arcade, wait. Are you talking about that's why he says not to talk about it? No, that's why he says that they can't do anything about it. And it's better to just basically come to terms that you are now in this reality. We are now, basically, Heimerdinger's whole thing in that conversation is, we are here, there's no way that we can get back, so we might as well make the best of it while we are here. I did not take anything from that conversation of, he wants to reach his own reality so bad, doesn't that explain it? Well, I mean, like, you could, I didn't get that as he wants to get back to his reality so bad because he cares so much about his other self. That always read to me as, I need to get back there because people are counting on me back in my world. He blatantly says that. Sketched it in the notebook? Wait, do you have like a timestamp for that I can go to? It can be both, but the fact that I'm gonna like skip through. Skip the intro. I'm skipping through this. Hey, Philemon, what's up? When does he actually talk to Heimerdinger? Okay, there he is. Yeah, okay, so wait. So Echo, are you talking about? Okay, so I just got to that part. I literally just found that spot. So yeah, he's like drawing the anomaly in his notebook. Okay, here we go. One can't shout. Okay, so one can't shout to the from the rooftops about being thrust in a parallel dimension without awkward consequences. Okay, I hope he says more than that. No, he just moves on. It seems the anomaly which dislodged us from... Okay. Okay, that's not enough. The reason that that's not enough is awkward... Avoiding an awkward conversation or an awkward consequence does not outweigh... Good night, my dude. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you sleep well. Awkward conversations and awkward consequences does not outweigh literally lying to everybody and pretending to be somebody different than who you actually are. Taking advantage of their status in this world, of their relationships in this world, which could be wildly different than the ones that you have. Right? I mean, we literally, like, Echo and Jinx, right? Wildly different relationships. You are not the same person, but you're pretending to be. An awkward conversation and the potential fallout from that awkward conversation does not outweigh this imposter bullshit. And I don't think that Heimerdinger should believe that. Okay, here's another thing that I was curious about. I couldn't remember how long Heimerdinger had been there. Okay, 1,128 days. Okay, so let me actually do that. That's about 3 years, right? 1,128 divided by 365 is, yeah, just over 3 years. Okay. Part of my brain was like, no, he said 10,000. So I was like, okay, so it's either 3 years or 30 years. I'm not sure which. Okay, so I'm glad that it's only 3 years. But also, Heimerdinger has been pretending to be somebody that he's not and lying to literally everybody for 3 years. That's not cool. Yeah. I do not like this episode. I think it like horrifically damages both Heimerdinger and Echo's characters. The fact that they just, especially Echo, and especially the way that he just takes advantage of Jinx's relationship with his other self to, like, takes advantage of her feelings for somebody else that he is pretending to be to manipulate her into doing what he wants. I think that's really fucked up. I think that's really fucked up. And that is let's pull this over here. Fuck it. Why not? Fuck it. Why not? Like, imagine you have a twin, right? Imagine you have a twin and you're married or you're going out with a girl or a boy or whatever. It doesn't matter. You have a significant other. Imagine your twin pretending to be you and taking advantage of your significant other's feelings for you to get into their pants. That's disgusting. That is deplorable behavior. And that's basically what Echo is doing in this entire episode. Like, this shit pisses me off, man. Like, this kind of stuff. And as I said before we actually started talking about the episode, none of the consequences going forward needed to happen in a different dimension. Nothing that happens in this episode required them to go to a different reality and take over alternate selves. It could have all been done in theirs. It would have required a little bit more work to get Heimerdinger on board with working with Hextech again. But that's part of writing. Those are the obstacles that you have to figure out ways to deal with without damaging your characters. You have to get Heimerdinger to this point naturally. And in a way they did, but in doing so, they kind of fucked him up. And like, it's an easy fix. All they had to do to not have, at least my biggest issue with this, is the lie. They want to go to alternate realities, that's fine, I'll get over it. I don't like multiverse shit. It's like one of the 3 big things, and they actually do 2 of them in this episode. Time travel and multiverse are 2 of the 3 big things that I hate in storytelling. I think it damages the stakes of the story horrifically. The other one being resurrection. There's consequences to this stuff, that's fine. But how they handled Echo stealing the life from his other self, yeah, and like, I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage of Arcane season. I have watched the first episode of EFAP on it. I have gotten through like a third of the second episode, but like a lot of this stuff, and like, I'll be entirely honest, after I was done with the first 3 episodes, I was hyped on season 2. I was really enjoying it. And then I started thinking about it. It's like, wait, Ambessa tried to kill Jace with Chem Baron Lady. Literally set up Chem Baron Lady to assassinate Jace. Ambessa did nothing to protect him from the assassin that she allowed in when she needed Jace and his hex tech for her plans. At this point in time, she doesn't know shit about Victor. She can't, because he's still in his cocoon. She doesn't know about the crazy robot stuff that's about to happen. She wants hex tech. And yet she signs off on an assassination attempt of the only person who can give it to her. That's real dumb. That's real stupid. Jinx is an entirely different character from season 1. Entirely different even from where she was left at the end of season 1 after everything happened. There's nothing he could have done in that moment why he wanted to go back. He actually started to fall for Powder himself after being there with her. They were really good friends when he was younger. It's never said how long it takes them to make the machine. None of that changes my primary argument. My primary argument is that he is still pretending to be somebody that he's not. He's still pretending to be his twin and taking advantage of her feelings for his twin. I don't give a damn if he starts feeling stuff for her. That doesn't matter. Literally does not matter. He is still taking advantage of her because she still thinks that he's a different person. And he never disabuses her of that notion. And that one line from Heimerdinger doesn't matter. That is not strong enough. That is not enough of an example. Echo is still himself, and at the same time he is not. I think he fucked up. I think they fucked him up. Turned him into a little bit of a sociopath in that episode. That has an easy fix, just allowing both entities to exist. Yeah, just bring them there in their own fucking bodies. Just bring them there in their own fucking bodies. That's why I said that it's the same issue as Wonder Woman 1984. Why did Steve come in and possess another person? It's a magic rock. It could just create a body for him. Like, they didn't have to have them steal their alternate selves' bodies. And honestly, I think that if they explained, hey, we're from an alternate reality, we're trying to get back to there, it's way more fucked up than y'all's, and they need our help. I have a feeling that all of these nice people in this alternate reality would fucking work harder to help them get back to where they need to be. Heimerdinger might have been gone and already back to his his original world by the time Echo even shows up. And then he shows up and they're like, oh yeah, your buddy was here a few years back. We fixed the problem. Poof, you're back instantly. Like, but awkward conversations or awkward consequences if we just tell people we're from an alternate reality. Okay. All right. All right, Heimerdinger. That's cool. Heimerdinger may have returned to Bandle City in that timeline. I don't know what that is. So for those of you, because I actually, this is one of the higher view things that I've seen or that I've done. Heimerdinger is a Yord. I know that he's a Yord. So I know very, very little about League lore or anything like that. The vast majority of what I know comes from this show and a couple of random things that I've heard over the years. So I know generally, in the most general sense, what a Yordle is, but I don't know any details. So they wait, they just can't die? Are they like true immortal, or do they just not age? Like if Heimerdinger takes a bullet to the head, is he fine? Or is it just they're like elves in Lord of the Rings, they just never age once they get to maturity? Theory is that Heimerdinger may have returned to Bandle City in that timeline. You're talking about the one that they're in right now? Like demons for okay. Thank you for that, Taco. That helps me understand quite okay, so okay. Okay. I get you now. Counterpoint though, that's never been introduced in the show. So the show might be different. I'm not saying that it is, but that might be different. What did I miss? Hey, Lore Spire! I'm talking shit specifically about season 2 of Arcane. But welcome in, my dude. How you been? I have made people upset because a lot of people like season 2, which is fine. I'm not going to tell you to not like a thing. I like plenty of bad things. I thoroughly enjoy my go-to liking of a bad thing is I absolutely fucking adore Batman and Robin. I don't give a fuck that movie is an absolute dumpster fire. I adore that movie. I'm not comparing this to Batman and Robin, by the way. Same as I'm not actually comparing this quality-wise to season 8 of Game of Thrones. I'm not comparing this quality-wise to Wonder Woman 1984. I'm just comparing concepts that I have seen in other things to this. Praise the bat nipples and the bat card. But yeah, I've been talking about episode 7 because that's the one that pissed me off the most. The armor shot, the 4. They have so many armored Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, I think, ass shots in that fucking movie. It's kind of insane. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. They covered Batgirl's ass with a cape. The other two, you get full on Batman and Robin ass. But Batgirl, no, they gotta cover her with a cape. I remember that. God, that movie is a treasure. Fucking Arnie is the one true Mr. Freeze. Like, let's be honest. The single best Mr. Freeze that there ever was. Been okay. Only saw Arcade for the first time 2 weeks ago. It's amazing. Best show on Netflix. One of the best animated shows. That said, season 1 is better than season 2. Season 1 is a billion times better than season 2. I do not like season 2. Season 2 pisses me off. I will sing the praises of season 1 from the rooftops until the day I die. I absolutely adore season 1. Actually, okay. You know what? 3 to 4 more episodes to be done properly. No, season 2 needed 3 to 4 more seasons to be done properly, in my honest opinion. All right, we're going to go back to episode 1 of season 1, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite 1 to 2 second clips. We're actually going to see the clip. I'm actually going to put it. Okay, so you know that it's because it fucking goes right here. Okay. It is this chase scene. I absolutely adore this chase scene. And one specific part of it. I want to go a little bit further, I think. Right here. I think we should be good. No. Right before this. Right? Where are you at? That's the Bridge of Progress? It is. There is one part of this. Wait, no. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause because I don't want to get hit by copyright. There is a part of this that is coming up in just a second. So if you're stuck on story, only season 2 was 100 times better than season 1. But so much of Arcane's awesomeness goes well beyond story. I disagree. A lot of the characters do a lot of really dumb things to allow the plot to progress in season 2. Very few people act as they should, as they have been established in season 1. Needed 3 seasons instead of 2. At least 3. And, like, I could be wrong about the 5 seasons thing. I could be wrong about the 5 seasons thing. I don't remember where I heard that. I heard it at some point. I have no sources. I have no backup to it. It's something that I heard. It is entirely hearsay, but it definitely needed more time. It is on. Okay, I'm gonna pause it again. I'm gonna pause it again because I really, really don't want to get hit by copyright. YouTube really hates me sometimes. So it's literally like one of the next shots. All right, so here we go. This right here. This right here. This like 2-second scene of them going down these stairs, I absolutely adore. This, if you're paying attention and you notice the details, tells you so much about each of these 4 characters. Now watch how they all go down these steps. You see that? Every single one of them went down those steps in a different way. And if you notice it and you pay attention, you learn a lot about each of them. So, if we go back, even season 1 was rushed. So, we got Vi jumping down the stairs. Doesn't give a fuck, doesn't hesitate, just jumps down. Milo tends to be a little bit of a show-off, right? Tends to be a little bit of show-off. He says stuff that doesn't need to be said. He likes to look cool. Fucking goes down the banister for no fucking reason. Powder, this is her first time going topside, right? She's a little bit unsure of herself. She's, you know, leaning back a bit. She's, you know, trying to keep her balance a little. She's, you know, it shows that she's a bit unsure of herself. And Clagger, this motherfucker, this fucking tank of a man, just fucking plows down the steps like a normal ass human being. Who has shit that he needs to get done. I love that each of them goes down those steps in a different way. I love that it tells you about, and like, obviously on a first viewing, that's not going to tell you anything, right? It's just, oh, they did it differently. Because you don't really, you know a little bit about these characters at this point, but once you've watched through this show and you come back, and if you notice that little detail, that tiny little thing, you know, it's like, what, a half a second, 2 seconds? The team paid attention to every detail in the animation. They did. They did so good in season 1. Like, okay, I say it's season 1. Season 2 animation, still fucking peak. Still incredible. Still gorgeous. Mwah. Love it. I just don't like the story. The music, I have listened to the majority of the songs in both season 1 and 2. Just in my own time. I love them. I don't even hate Imagine Dragons. I do not hate them. I will not seek them out and listen to them intentionally. But if one of their songs comes on the radio, I don't vomit. Feel like season 2 had a lot of things going on and at the same time didn't explore much. Am I the only one? No. 100% I agree with you. They... Jace goes from almost exiled to just expelled from school into self-unaliving and just to... Okay, so the reason... So I can believe that because Jace... the difference between exile and expulsion is almost meaningless to Jace himself. Because both of them have the same result. Expulsion and exile both prevent him from continuing his life's work, his research, his exploration of magic and technology. He would lose his he would basically lose his reason for living if he got, whether it was exiled or expelled. So regardless of which way that ended up going, I feel like his decision there, like, while I'm not saying, yeah, that's totally reasonable. No, God, no. But, my brain just fucking shut off, sorry. Yeah, so, like, I can see how he gets there. Because he was probably contemplating that while he was in the cell, right? He's like, I don't have anything else if I get kicked out of this school. I can't get kicked out of this school. But he stands on his principles. He ends up standing on his principles when he's actually at the trial or hearing or whatever it is. Main objective of Hex Tech was to make a breakthrough in science. Yeah, they wanted to help people. They wanted to help people by combining magic and science so that you could do stuff with Hex Tech that you couldn't do with either magic or science alone. Right? You couldn't do it with just magic because magic is too unpredictable, too wild, too chaotic. You couldn't do it with science because magic. You can't do everything with science that you can do with magic. But yeah, yeah, I love Arcane as a whole. Yeah. The more you reflect on season 2, the more its writing flaws stand out. Season 1, on the other hand, stands absolutely. There are some things that I take issue with in season 1. I did not. So here's another thing. I did not rewatch season 1 before I watched season 2. It's actually been a hot minute since I've seen season 1 in its entirety. So I can't go into like full detail on season 1, just because I don't remember it well enough, and I don't want to continue talking. Like, this scene will be in my brain until the day I die. I absolutely adore that little bit, mainly because I've used it as an example on streams multiple times now of gorgeous character through action. A gorgeous and like almost perfect example of character through action that those characters are taking. Which I think is pretty damn strong throughout all of season 1. Throughout all of season 1, the characters in the action scenes would do, like, I could see them making those decisions. Imagine Echo's and Zaun's reaction and drama of Vi being enforcer, or how would Jace feel if he saw the timeline where Hex Tech wasn't invented, seeing how it led to Zaun and Piltover. I know, right? Like, there's so many conversations in season 2 that just didn't happen. Imagine, if you will, a conversation between Vi and Caitlyn where Caitlyn says, hey, I think we should release poisonous gas into the streets of your home. Fucking what? How did Vi go? How did she convince Vi that that's a good thing? Reminder, this is the same gas that caused Victor to have the illness that he has. Excuse me? What do you mean you're just unleashing that on civilian populations? What do you mean you're gassing civilian populations with stuff that has been proven to give horrific chronic illnesses to people, leading to their deaths? Victor is dying because of his illness that he got from breathing this shit in. And they're just unleashing it on the populace? Like, okay, I actually was planning to argue for that originally. When I first listened to some people talk about this, and they took such a hard stance against the gas, I was like, wait. But, like, if they're using it as a way to clear people out from areas that there's potentially a firefight, isn't the gas a lesser of two evils? But then I remembered the consequences that this gas has on people. They had to make Vi a Piltover Enforcer because her title is the Piltover Enforcer. And, like, I'm okay with her doing that. Like, I could see that happening, like, maybe halfway through Season 2 if there's a lot of work being put into it. If there's a lot of work being put into, and there is some, most of it's in season 1. There is some to make her humanize the enforcers, right? Because before she meets Caitlyn, especially before she meets Caitlyn, the enforcers are just a faceless mass of evil, right? They're basically the stormtroopers from Star Wars. That's how she sees them. So she needs somebody to humanize them, which Caitlyn does. And she needs to see them doing good for people. She needs to see them doing good for people. The little people, the people that Vi cares about the most. She needs to see enforcers doing good things, going out of their way to help people that most people would ignore. You know, the poor, the homeless, you know, the undercity, basically. If Jay saw the no Hextech timeline, would he be guilty or remorseful of how he prevented progress of both cities? It would be, oh God, I wish that was a conversation. And I think that would be so much more interesting. Like, okay, so imagine they swap Jace and Echo. Imagine they swap, so like they're forced into the, like, they have guns to their heads, they have to do the alternate timeline and the future timeline shit. Right? They have to. They don't have a choice. Somebody has a shotgun to their head and a bomb strapped to their entire family. They have to do this or everybody they care about dies. That would make Echo want to go back in time, which is his whole thing, right? If he goes to the future and the future's fucked up, he would start thinking about, oh my God, I need to go back. Thus, working for who knows how long. Imagine if Echo comes back and he's like 20 years older. It took him 20 years in that future timeline to create some way to return. But now he has his little time travel thing. And then you have Jace in alternate Piltover / Zon, where everybody's happy. There's peace, apparently. There is prosperity. Everybody seems to be doing so much better than they would otherwise, that they are in our world. And he has to deal with that confrontation. He has to deal with that conflict of, I thought I was doing good. I thought I was helping people, but I made so many things so much worse. Like, that would be so much more interesting than Echo going in there and being like, hey, I'm just gonna take the place of my twin and pretend to be your boyfriend so that you kiss me and I can make you work for me. Disgusting. Also, I really have to pee, so I'm gonna get up real quick. I'll be back in just a second. Also, listen to some music while I'm gone. I'm back. I'm back. All right. Uh. Okay, so let me catch up on chat. Same issue with Vi. They decided to make Arcane canon, so Echo has to be the boy who shattered time. They had a deadline, so it's definitely rushed to meet that. They could have done a lot better if they were given more time. I mean, like, okay, so I would say like they actually did have quite a bit of time. When did season 1 come out? Season 1 came out a few years back, right? Arcane season 1 release 2021, November 6, 2021. So it's almost been 3 years exactly. A little over 3 years between season 1 and season 2. That's more than enough time to make a 9-episode season and write it well. And like, here's the thing. As someone who has dabbled in writing and failed miserably because I'm bad at it, I have an idea of how difficult writing is. However, writing is not the thing that's going to be taking 3 years to do. Right? If you're still writing a thing 3 years in and you haven't gotten the script tight and tied down, something is very wrong at that point. Unless it's like a fucking 1,000-page manuscript or something, right? Like, if you're writing a season of TV, it shouldn't take 3 years to write it. And I think a lot of the issues in season 2 come from the writing. The decisions that they made, the writing that they made, the writing that they did. Restriction is 1 9-episode season that limits you when you're trying to tell a story that needs 3 seasons and 20 episodes or more. I mean, then you have to make sacrifices. You have to decide which of those plot lines are important and which ones aren't, and you have to cut the ones that aren't. Is to not create any major conflict with the lore from the game. How much do you think the writer strikes affected that? Those are last year. Like, even at that point, I don't think the writer strike should have affected it at all. Because at that point, the season should have been written. Like, the writing should be the first thing. Writing should be the first thing that is finished before anything else starts. You should be done with the script. Before you start basically anything else. Like, you could have some storyboarding going, you know, some concept art of, you know, maybe new characters or new places that you want to go, stuff like that. But you have to, like, before you start, you know, the voice actors coming in, the animators actually animating stuff, you have to have the script done. That should be the first thing that's done. That's one of the things that, like, absolutely fucking destroys my brain, is when I hear about stuff like, this is horrifically common in more of the recent Marvel movies, right? Where they're literally, like, in on day 1 of filming and they don't have a script. They are filming the movie and there's no script. Happened in Multiverse of Madness, happened in Quantumania. Those are the 2 big examples that I can remember right off the top of my head. At least Echo and Jinx's forced to almost romance in season 2, episode 9 didn't happen explicitly. She killed like Firefly. Yeah. I don't think that it should happen at all. Hopefully the story. Let me. I started catching up on chat, that I like got distracted because I started going off on my own stuff. Maybe spitting off some different series. I think they tried a little bit too much to set up too many of the spin-offs. Mandalorian season 2 style, where Mandalorian season 2 was literally just, hey, here's an advertisement for all of the other shows that are coming up. Echo and the Firelight, Savika and Jinx and Isha team up where they're fighting for Zon. Okay, so that's another thing. There's like no leadership in Zon. Oh, actually, fuck all of that. Fuck all of that. How does Savika not know that Jinx killed Silco? How does nobody know that Jinx shot Silco to death? Let me remind you, this does not have to come from Jinx's mouth. There are 2 other people that were in that room who have very good reasons, who had very good reasons to let everybody know, hey, Jinx shot the guy that was in charge. Caitlyn and Vi were both in that room. Caitlyn has literally zero reason to hide that fact. Vi, you could argue she wants to protect her sister from the repercussions of her fucking stupid actions. Well, not stupid. That I misspoke. I shouldn't have said stupid. She does a lot of stupid actions in this season, but that one was like justified. Like her shooting Silco was actually justified. In the context of that scene and where everybody was headspace wise. But like Savika should not be working with Jinx. There is zero fucking reason for Savika to work with Jinx. Jinx, I don't know how the fuck she became this messiah of Zaun. When throughout the entirety of season 1, she was hated by basically everyone. Firelights hated her. Silco's people hated her. The Chem Barons hated her. Every single person hated Jinx except Silco. And that's why she was relatively safe in season 1. Silco wouldn't have wanted to have Jinx hurt. He did. Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I agree, Scout. Dude, the fact that they killed 2 of the Chem Barons in a music video. Fucking hate it. Also, Smeech deserved better. By the way, that scene in isolation, the fight scene between Smeech and Savika, that's actually really fun. That is a really fun fight scene. I love that fight in isolation. If you remove all context, I adore that scene. I also love the song. I know a lot of people hate it. I don't give a fuck. I love that song. Just learned that a major season 1 writer named Ash Brandon, who also co-directed wrote Toy Story 2, was unavailable this season. He helped nail down the story for over a year and was given credit. She was the only one to stand up to Topside in any significant way, and everyone in the Fishers blames them for their shitty lives. Okay, but like, okay, so she did one action. That one action would not erase her entire history up until that point. Also, she did that one action and then vanished. She did one thing and then vanished. There's no way to know for sure how much of an effect this had, but I wouldn't be surprised if her absence, or his absence, sorry, played a role in the Rush storyline that many... Yeah. Yeah, like, that's the thing. That's the thing, is, like, a lot of times people will look at, oh, this is, you know, this studio that's making this, and they made this other thing that was great 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. And it's like, okay, that's the same company, but is it the same people? And Arcane had a lot of the same people. But it's not going to be all of the same people. And I think that some of the people that they didn't have this time might have been why. Aaron, Rennie worked with Jinx on the War of Piltover. Which one's Rennie? Is she the fucking goth chick? Rennie Arcane. Who is Rennie? Oh. Okay. I feel like of all the Chem Barons, Rennie would probably have the most reason to work with Jinx. So that would be interesting. That would have been an interesting plot line. You have Rennie and Jinx kind of teaming up. They obviously aren't going to trust each other 100%. Two actions, actually, they were by far the biggest fuck yous to Topside that anyone had committed. I don't at all find it hard to believe that desperate people would latch onto her as a savior. Okay. But she is known as being basically a serial killer. Like, she is as close to, like, not a serial killer, because serial killers are far more methodical. She is a mass murderer. She has killed so many random people over the years. Her unhingedness is well known. It is a common, publicly known fact that she is fucking cuckoo bananas crazy. Like, you can't erase all of that knowledge and all of that history. You just can't. Like, I would be okay and also if the course of events, that's another thing. Yeah, Jinx is Silco's executioner. If the course of action of events happened as they should have, all of those people would also know that Jinx shot Silco and killed him, because Caitlyn would have a vested interest in making sure that everybody knows that Jinx killed Silco. Because from what we've gathered in season 1, Silco was actually pretty well respected. Like, he wasn't just some tyrant that was hated by everyone. He was pretty well respected by the people of Zaun. Argo Cross, they were captured by Kate's net and never seen again, so it's likely they went to prison. Kate and Vi don't kill anyone until the final episode, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe? I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that point because I can't remember perfectly. Desperate people will forgive almost anything if they think it gives them a solution, especially when no one else is offering any type of solution. There is a solution, though. It's a very easy solution. It's a very easy solution. Give her to Piltover. That's all Piltover is wanting. That's all Piltover has ever wanted from fucking episode 1, was to give up the people that blew up their shit. Now, in episode 1, it was a complete accident, and it would not have been a just result. Yeah, they fucked up. Did Marcus die? Yeah, Marcus died. But Marcus died because of Jinx's bomb. He was not killed by Caitlyn. Remember, he had the... That is not true. That is true. That is explicitly stated from Jace to Silco. Okay, yeah, they also want Shimmer to go away. Yeah, they want Shimmer to go away, and they want Jinx. That's it. And like, that's the whole reason that they are sending their enforcers down there. Yeah, they also want to get rid of, like, the... Oh, shit. That was a scab, and I'm now bleeding. Oh, well. I had an itch on my arm, and then I felt wetness, and... Oh, well. What was I saying? Suga wants to keep her Shimmer business moving. Too many questions that went unanswered. Does anyone know Jinx killed Silco? No. No. Because if Savika knew that Jinx killed Silco, there is no chance in hell that Savika would work with her. Not a shot. She would have turned her over in an... Also, the whole we don't give up our own thing is fucking out of nowhere. It's completely stupid. Does Caitlyn learn that Mbessa was working with the Chem Barons? No. How is Vi convinced to guess her people? Nobody knows. Yeah, like, it's literally nobody knows that Jinx killed Silco because Caitlyn and Vi just forgot when they got back to Piltover, apparently. Caitlyn never learns that Mbessa was working with the Chem Barons, which does make a little bit of sense. I don't think that there's enough of a trail between them. That would link them together, and you know, she just kills Rennie, so that loose end is dealt with. And how is Vi convinced to gas her own people? Who the fuck knows? She's just got that banging body, and Vi just can't say no to her, I guess. Did explore Marcus's daughter on how she lost her dad and how Vi feels guilty for it. Maybe Vi can take care of... Hello, Last Drop. Disappointed with the direction they went with this show. They did admit it was experimental, visual storytelling over narrative. but I think it really hurt because of how rushed it was. Yeah. Like, imagine... So, Vi's depression after the events of Act 1, Season 2, are shown in a music video. The entirety of the "we're gonna gas Zod to find Jinx" plan was developed and established in a music video. There's so much. There's so many conversations, so much character work that they could have put into actual dialogue and have people talk to one another, that they just put into music videos or just like showed a couple of pictures. You know, hop on, Lore? We can have a conversation if you want to argue the other side. We can hop into a Discord call if you want. Should I potential with its plot lines, like with Vi and Caitlyn, the Enforcers putting Zon in cams, Jinx leading the revolution, and best influence politics, etc., etc. There are so many things that they could have done. Twitch, Blitzcrank, Zion, etc. It's hard to add it to the series with all this going on. Yeah, I don't even know who any of those people... Like, I've heard of Blitzcrank, but I don't know anything about any of those characters. I'm assuming those are all heroes from the game, but I don't know. Season 2, Episode 8, scene after Jinx says she'd break the cycle bothered me the most. While important for the story, it feels odd if Vi doesn't immediately go after Jinx. So I mentioned earlier, I don't really remember Episodes 8 or 9 that well. I kind of... I'm going to be entirely honest. Episodes 8 and 9, I clocked out. I checked out. I was not paying attention. I was actually playing World of Warcraft, and Arcane was playing on my second monitor. That's why I haven't really been talking about them, because I don't remember them basically at all. They're part of Piltover's on. Okay, gotcha. Took me a couple of days, but the stuff that Victor does is a clear ripoff of the MCU movie Age of Ultron. Is it really? Well, like, oh wait, it's because the one thing that I do remember is he just wants to turn everybody into robot people. Everybody's a robot. Nobody has free will. Everybody is perfect at that point, right? That's like his whole thing. Which, like, he's being affected by some weird common, like the Hex core, right? His whole, like, being has been taken over by that fucking thing. We don't know anything about it, really. So who fucking knows? That could make sense to him. Montages were cool, but they used too much. Were used too much, and they basically just tell the audience, this happens, don't question it. Yeah. What they did with Jinx was criminal. Like, no one expected this whole show to be just misery. Okay, also, how does Jinx go from being... How does she go from where she's at the end of Season 1 to being a mom to this little mute kid? Like, I've mentioned before, I haven't seen all of EFAP's coverage, but I have watched some of it, and they keep calling the kid Grogu, and I find that to be incredibly funny. Because it's literally just another, oh, this is a cute little kid that doesn't talk because reasons. If they want to give Vi an inner conflict story, have it where she is forced to hunt down Warwick and kill or capture him to stop him from killing more people. She's like a big sister. Character of Isha was clearly a plot device to break. Yeah. Like, build her up, give her a little sense of peace because she cares about kids. All of a sudden. Like, here's the thing. Jinx has never really been that careful with the mass amounts of destruction and explosions. Did she really expect to not ever catch children in those mass amounts of explosions and destruction? And then suddenly she cares about this one kid who literally drops on her out from the fucking sky. I'm not saying that she should put a bullet in the kid's head or anything. Because I also don't think that that would be what Jinx would do. But I don't think that Jinx, as she is established in season 1, especially towards the end of season 1, where she's like entirely despondent and just doesn't give a fuck about anything. She's like, fuck it, I'm gonna blow those people up because I just don't care. Reason they added Isha as a mute character was the same reason Victor has a disability, right? Well, okay, so but Victor, I'm calling you. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Let's have this. Here, let me actually kill this real quick, just in case Discord does a dumb. Is there that much of a? There should not be that much of a. Okay, that's fine. I lost track of what I was saying. I think that she's kind of just saw herself in her or someone who she could begin to care for, like Silco. They kind of just ruined that plotline too, having again be a dead plot. But like, they basically add in Isha to build Jinx up, to then kill her, to put Jinx basically back to where she was before. But would be the one taking care of Isha and had an arc of understanding Vander and Silco on being a parent. That would have been more interesting. But again, I don't see like the problem with that whole the Isha character being introduced to one of those two other characters is you have to establish a reason for them to take on such a caring role for this character. Right? Savika isn't heartless, but she is incredibly pragmatic and she has a goal. She wants to improve the lives of basically everyone in Zaun, right? That's what she cares about. She's very blatant about this in season 1. Straight up sells Silco from the, like, at one point, I will betray you, but not unless I find somebody who's better for this place than you are. Right now, you are the best person to bring us into a better future. But if you start fucking up, cough, cough, Jinx, cough, cough. If you start fucking up, I will kill you. So keep that in mind. Versus Betrayal was the true gust of the season, along with Victor slowly becoming corrupted by a hex tech. Could have even had a final. Yeah. But like, having Savika start taking care of a kid is almost as I would say it's almost as difficult as suddenly having Jinx take care of a kid. Like I would have been okay. Like I'm okay with Jinx killing the guys who are chasing the kid, and then just leaving the kid there. You know, she protected the kid in that moment because that's what she felt like doing, and then she wanders off because she still can't really be asked to give that much of a fuck. I would have been perfectly okay with that. I would have thought that that was like a pretty good scene. The fact that the kid follows her is also okay. However, Jinx has a billion ways to get away from this child, and she doesn't make use of any of them. She doesn't actually, I don't know. I don't see Jinx adopting a kid. Savika wouldn't have had time like Silco to do the parenting, especially being the head council of Zaun. But like, she's not. She's not the leader of Zaun. There is no leader of Zaun right now. The Chem Barons were kind of in charge. Savika tried to rein them in, but they just didn't, like, there was the whole meeting with her and Smeech. Where he's like, fuck you. It's like, fuck you. Why should we listen to you? You're not Silco. You don't have his, you know, authority. Why the hell should we care what you say? So she's not even in charge of anything. She's just kind of around, and then they just forget about her after she has her fight with Smeech, basically. She has her fight with Smeech. She goes to the absolutely idiotic rally out in public in the middle of a very recognizable location. Like when there are enforcers everywhere. Did you not think that the other side would hear about this? Um, let's see. My brain's kind of shutting down at the moment. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. You know what? Let's get this back up. Would have been in anarchy without Silco, but somehow they managed. I mean, to be fair, they were kind of in anarchy before, right? Well, no, I guess Vander was taking care of the place before Silco. So what should have happened is after Silco's death. After Silco's death. Wait, what happened? Wait. Did. Oh. Wait, why did that when did that happen? Yeah, I just accepted. I did not realize. Did you remove me from your friends list, sir? I don't know. Or were we just always going through unsung? Is that what happened when we were doing the podcast back in the day? All right. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I guess we were just always going through unsung.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So, everybody, this is Lore Spire. He is another YouTuber. Does a lot of CRPG stiffs. He's going to be arguing against me. We're going to be adversaries in this conversation.
Well, maybe not on everything. Like, there are a couple of points where I agree with you, but definitely not on a lot of the stuff you're saying.
All right. So, which is your biggest disagreement with what I've said so far?
My biggest disagreement with what you've said so far. I mean, I'm not even sure. There's been so many of them. I'm not sure which one would be my biggest. But you were just recently talking about Jinx not taking care of a kid. I totally
Turn up his
disagree with
volume.
that. Like,
Okay. Apparently you're a little low, so I. Ooh.
oh yeah. The Discord volume's always low. I got to put everybody between like 170 and 200 to be able to hear them all right and get them to come through on stream all right.
Let's also bump up that. All right. Could you talk a little bit?
Yeah, is that any better? Everybody hear me?
All right. It should be quite a bit louder for you guys. Can you guys hear him good now? We'll get an answer in about 30 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Oh, okay, so yeah, just like I said, I'm not sure which one I disagree with the most, but I definitely disagree with you talking about Powder taking care of Isha. Doesn't make any sense at all. Like to me, it makes total sense that she would see herself in Isha. She'd feel bad for Isha. She'd want to take care of her, and I think that was like an important part of kind of her character progression, like her getting to feel what it was maybe like for Vi and Silco, with her like taking on their roles in relation to how they were to her whenever Silco was alive and whenever Vi and her were younger.
Okay. But like you have the way that I see it, I'm looking at how she is at the end of season 1, right? Cuz season 2 happens unless there's a time skip that's not immediately evident. She is at her most broken at the end of season 1.
I think there's definitely a time skip. It never really lets you know how long, but I don't know. I had the sense that it was at least months.
So, which would make sense, yeah, because it does. There is an amount of time. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm thinking about it a little bit more. Yeah, there is a bit of time between the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2. I think they actually do say that it's been like 3 months or something. at some point.
Oh, did they actually say that?
I care. I think there was a
Vague, but
conversation
I know.
between Caitlyn and Ambessa where they mention that they've been doing it for months. I don't know if they say an exact number, but yeah, there is an amount of time that happens.
Yeah.
But like, as somebody who is as damaged as Jinx is before the end of season 1, and then having to also deal with the fact that once again, for the second time, she has killed her father figure. I don't think that she would allow herself to like start building a relationship with somebody else. Because I feel like she would have that, especially the way that she is in season 1. She's already got that. I hurt everybody that comes near me. I am a Jinx, hence the name. Everybody that gets close to me dies or gets hurt. I don't think that she would want a child around her. I think she would actively avoid it.
Okay, but
Like I said,
why do you think that? I mean, surely there has to be some amount of time that she would go through to where she was willing to have another relationship with somebody.
I
Do you agree with that, or you think she would never would again in her entire life?
maybe event, but like I think that there has to be a catalyst to cause that, and the catalyst should not be a child literally falls on her from the sky. Like I said, I do believe that she would shoot and protect the kid in that moment. But as soon as the kid starts trying to get clingy, she would push them away. She would immediately push them away. She'd be like, "Stay away from me. You don't want to be anywhere near me. Go away." And then she would make it impossible because she's got that fucking like flash shimmer speed that she's got. She could just zip away at any time, and that kid has no chance of ever finding her again.
Yeah, that was actually. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to come back to the shimmer speed thing. But let's finish this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. We can talk about that later. But I feel like there should have to be something more than just a what is shown, right? What is shown is kid falls on Jinx. Goons surround kid and Jinx. Also, how the hell did they get down there so fast? Because they didn't jump down. They just teleport from way the hell up in that tunnel down to immediately be around Jinx and Child before Jinx and Child can stand up. So that's a little weird, but not a big deal. They could have just showed them dropping down in the background and it would have been the same thing. Jinx shoots those 3 like she does in the show, walks away as she does in the show. Child runs up to her like, "Oh my god, you protected me, you saved me." We, like obviously not talking, but following her as she does in the show. And then Jinx pushes her away and then just like flash steps away and the kid is alone in that alley. Like that is how, as Jinx's has been portrayed up to that point, that is a far more reasonably expectable reaction from her than fine, you can come with me. And I'm going to act irritated, but I'm not actually going to do anything to prevent this. Because she's not happy that the kid is following her in those scenes. She doesn't want the kid around her, but she doesn't do anything to prevent the kid from being around her. And I don't think that I don't think that the few months, like the guilt that she would have for having killed a second father figure and having been responsible for the death of another person who loved her and that she loved that much, a couple of months is not going to be enough time for her to heal from that and be willing to take on not just a friendship, like not just a relationship with a person that she could potentially be on equal terms with, but a child that she is now the protector of, apparently. Like, I do not at all believe that Jinx would be willing to take on that role. Not as her character has been developed up to that point.
I mean, could there maybe have been more development and stuff? Yeah, that gets back to what we were talking about before, where they needed more episodes in the season, probably more seasons. almost definitely more seasons to tell the
I,
whole story and tell it all properly. That gets back into all of that. But to me, I don't have a problem with her seeing herself in Isha needing like she has nobody at that point, and people need somebody. So either she's going to go off on her own and die. Maybe she's not ready for that. Maybe she's not ready to give up. Even if she doesn't like to admit it, even if she doesn't want the kid around, maybe at some deep subconscious level, she knows that she needs her, as a way to keep herself from completely going insane, completely going off the deep end, just going off and killing herself, blah, blah, whatever. Like I'm saying, at some basic subconscious level, she could need the kid, even if she doesn't want the kid around, you know, and I don't have a problem at all with her seeing like herself in the kid whenever she is little. The kid's in trouble, she's trying to help the kid out, and as far as her being the kid's protector and everything, maybe she kind of sees herself like that, but she's obviously not like a very good parental figure. She doesn't know where the kid is. The kid just kind of comes and goes as needed. So it's not like she's suddenly becomes mother of the year over here. Anyways, it might be unlikely, and I might be willing to admit that it was unlikely, and I definitely admit that it could have used maybe a little bit more, a little bit better setup. But I don't find it at all impossible or even implausible. Just maybe the less likely for what they had set up to that point. But I don't know. I definitely don't see it as impossible or implausible as you seem to.
so I don't think that it's impossible. I think that it shouldn't have happened as fast as it did.
Yeah.
I feel like, so I do believe that they're saying that she sees herself, a younger version of herself, in Isha. I do agree with that. But the way that Jinx looks at herself, the way that Jinx sees herself, I don't think that she should have allowed that relationship to build. There should have been multiple scenarios where the kid is constantly pushing for a relationship with Jinx. Jinx is constantly rejecting it over and over and over again. But each time the rejection gets a little softer. Each time it happens a little less. And eventually, Jinx realizes through something that she actually does care deeply for this kid, and then that's when the relationship starts building even more. That comes into they just didn't have time for it.
Yeah.
Which is like one of my biggest problems with this season is everything feels so rushed.
Yeah.
They
No,
rush so many things
that's
because
absolutely true.
they put so much plot relevant and character relevant information in those montages at the beginning and sometimes in the middle of episodes. The people just don't have conversations as.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I actually love those montages. I think they're some of the best parts of the show. But I do think from a story's perspective, the show definitely would have been better. Like they could have had the montages and maybe still shown the stuff if they were willing to add another season or at least more episodes to this season or something. And I'm not sure why they didn't want to do that. I don't know. They must have some type of schedule. Maybe it's imposed on them by Netflix. Maybe it's imposed by on them by Riot Games. Because they've got to get these characters made, or maybe they've got characters that are linked to the spinoffs. That they're planning, so they have to get the spinoffs out on time. Stuff like that, because they're actually taking characters from the show and making them new characters in the game. So maybe there's schedules and stuff there that they're just trying to meet, and that sucks. Like it would be nice if they were just allowed to create the show and write the show as it should be if it were independent
Okay,
from all the other stuff.
I
But I
just
don't
looked it
think that
up. I
any
just looked it
show
up.
actually has that amount of freedom.
I just looked it up. Apparently, one of the and this was mentioned in chat earlier. I just looked it up myself as well. Apparently, it was always supposed to have 2 seasons. The
That's
five
what
season thing
my
was apparently
understanding.
a prank that was pulled a while back and just got repeated until it just became the de facto belief for a lot of people, myself included, until just now. So apparently it was always supposed to be 2 seasons. In which case, if it was only supposed to be 2 seasons, they tried to do way too much with this. They should have pared down a lot of the side stories. focused on, one or two major plot lines, maybe three, but they had so much going on, so many side things going on. They had the Mbessa plot, the Mbessa and Caitlyn plot, the Kate and Vi plot, the Jinx and Isha plot, the Savika plot, the fucking Echo and Heimerdinger plot, the Jace and Victor plot, like all of these sprawling threads that they had. And they wanted to get it all done in 9 episodes? That's insanity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they couldn't make it, extend the number of episodes to. I don't know why they couldn't extend the number of episodes to like 20 episodes or something if you could only do 2 seasons like that. But I don't know. I guess they had the reasons, whatever they may be. I feel like they were shoehorning so many plot lines into there for so many of them so that they could set up spin-offs
Yeah.
because they've said they want to do a bunch of spin-offs, for the characters that are in the show and other characters that aren't in the show, but they're still like, I guess, setting them up even though they're not in the show. All that kind of stuff. I definitely feel like if they had concentrated just on like uh Powder or Jinx and Vi, and maybe had like, I don't know, maybe you have Caitlyn and Savika as like the kind of side plot line since they're both kind of integral to those two characters'
Yeah.
stories. Or well, maybe not Savika so much, but anyways, you
I
get
mean,
what I'm
Savika,
saying.
I would say that
And they
Savika's a
left some
good,
less.
like, you have a good pairing between the combat styles of Caitlyn and Jinx, because they're both ranged, shooty fighters. And then you have the two
Yeah.
melee brawlers between Vi and Savika. So you actually have a pretty good matchup between those two. And there is a way to force them into a confrontation where those are the sides. And you could even argue,
Well, I mean,
what if there's
do
a
that.
circumstance?
They have that battle.
They do,
battle,
they do.
so yeah.
But they swap the partners. They have Caitlyn and
They have Caitlyn and
Savika.
Vi and
They have
oh, that's
Caitlyn
right.
fighting Savika, and they have Vi fighting Jinx.
Oh yeah. Who
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. The teams are right. The individual combat partners are mixed up.
Yeah.
But I also think that it would be really interesting if they had written it in such a way. Like, I'm not saying that this would be better. I just think that it would be kind of interesting if they wrote it in such a way where it's like, okay, Savika hates Jinx in season 1. Like, everybody, like, that's like not a hot take. Everybody knows Savika does not like Jinx in season 1. Apparently she becomes Jinx's fucking minion in season 2 somehow, but she does not like Jinx in season 1. Caitlyn really hates Jinx by the end of season 1. Vi still kind of sympathetic towards Jinx. So there is a world where they have Savika and Caitlyn fighting Vi and Jinx.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be a cool fight.
I agree with you. That would be a cool that would be a cool fight.
That would be fucking cool.
It would be a cool fight, but now you're kind of getting into to what you said you didn't agree with me before at the very very beginning, where I said, like, so much of what is awesome about the show isn't the actual story, and now you're just like, whatever, story be damned, I just want to see these people fight.
There's a difference. I'm not saying it would be good. Well, it could be, but that's the thing. It's the execution is the important bit on this stuff. Like, what was done in season 2 could have been done in a way. I'm not a good enough writer to accomplish this, but they could have woven all of these disparate threads in such a way that it could have come out good. I have faith in them. I watched season 1. Season 1 had a shit ton of threads, a lot of stuff going on, but it was woven together to make something that was fucking gorgeous. Season 2, it looked like shit that I drew when I was 7.
No, fuck that. That's not true. Season 2 looked every bit as good as season 1.
I'm not talking about
the
okay.
story,
I'm talking about the story.
Was spotty.
I'm talking about the weaving together of the story and equating that to a picture. I'm not talking about the actual animation. The animation is gorgeous all over. Like, I will never say anything bad about the Arcane animation. It is absolutely fucking beautiful. But yeah, when I was talking about that, I was talking about the story specifically. The story woven together made a picture that I drew when I was 7 years old.
Yeah, come on though. They did have. I mean, they wove a lot of story threads together in season 1 and did it much better.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying.
but they in season 1, they could bring it to a stop wherever they wanted. Like, they didn't have to tie up the entire story, like all at once, because that's it. There's never going to be another episode.
That was their decision, though.
And yeah,
They
well,
decided to do 2 seasons. That is their problem.
I absolutely agree, and they should have made a season 3. But I'm just saying, maybe it's not the studio's fault. Maybe it's not the writer's fault. You know, maybe it's the people who are bankrolling this shit that are just like, this is what you got to do,
But, like,
even if it's not as good as it could be. That's all you get, because we want to make our money, and that's all that there is to it. And money's the bottom line, with all of these things whenever any of
yeah,
them are made.
but
So
I
it's not
don't consider that to be an
necessarily
excuse, though, because they knew that it was only going to be 2 seasons from the very beginning, so they should have taken that into account. So,
okay,
like,
but
if they knew that they only had 2 seasons, they should have planned it from the
so
beginning.
what do you think they should have done different then? Like,
So episode 7 shouldn't exist. Alternate realities, alternate timelines, that bullshit should not exist. I'm biased against alternate reality and multiverse shit to begin with, so
okay.
I have a bias against it.
I love alternate realities and multiverse and
I
time
hate
travel.
it in stories.
I freaking love it.
I hate
so
that
much.
shit.
It's so good.
It
It's so amazing.
kills your stakes. It kills your stakes. Time travel, multiverse, resurrection.
Episode 7 was great, but episode 7 should have been like saved for a spin-off. I don't think it should have been part of season 2. I think it should have been like a spin-off or its own separate thing and I think that they might still do this, probably not, but I think it would actually be cool if they go back and they explore like that world in some type of spin-off scenario or something.
Exploring that world, cool. I would be okay with. It is how they brought our characters into that world that I have a major fucking problem with, and how those characters reacted to their new scenario in that world.
Okay, but to be fair, that sounds just more like your own personal taste.
No.
Not necessarily
No.
That's definitely what it sounded like to me.
No. Well, I didn't want to get into this too much. I will get into the Cliff's Notes of it, because I bitched about this for like 45 minutes. They drastically damaged Heimerdinger and Echo's characters by the way that they acted in episode 7. The reason is they lied to literally everybody in that universe. They did not make it clear that they were not the people that those people knew. Okay. Echo took advantage of Jinx's feelings for what is essentially his twin to get her to do stuff for him. Okay. And to have a romantic moment with her.
Okay.
If you had a twin brother and your brother impersonated you to get with your significant other and manipulate them into making out with him, to working for him in a way that she might not have done if she didn't think that it was you, that's disgusting behavior. Pretending to be somebody else to manipulate them into doing something that they may or may not be willing to do for a different person, that's disgusting. That is horrific. You are pretending to be an entirely different person.
I agree with you that if somebody's twin does that, then that's pretty fucked up. But whenever we're talking about traveling through time and through dimensions,
yeah, he's taking over the body of another person. That is not him. That Echo had a life before he possessed his body. By the way, that other Echo might as well be dead while he is possessing his body.
Okay.
But he takes over the body of a completely different person, and then doesn't make everybody absolutely understand that I am not that person that you know. I am a different person. I do not want to be in this person's body, but this is the scenario that I find myself in. He does not do anything about that.
So if you had swapped places with him, you wouldn't do that? If you felt
I would tell people
all of your friends and all of your family and everybody that you ever knew and loved and care about depended on you getting back there, or else they were going to die or have horrible, horrific lives, and the only way that you could get back there to save them was to, act like this other person to get back to them.
Why?
And while you're doing
why do you think that they wouldn't help him get back if they knew that he needed to get back there to save lives?
Because traveling through dimensions is something that's impossible to believe. So maybe they just throw him in the nut house because maybe they
Or
actually do believe him and they want to experiment on him or some shit. Somebody finds out and they want to
wait.
experiment on him,
He's
find
talking
out what's
to
unique about him to where he's able to do this. No. There's explanations for that.
but none of those explanations are relevant to this situation because
How's that not relevant?
because the people that he's dealing with, especially once Heimerdinger comes in, and Heimerdinger's been there for 3 years, Heimerdinger knows these people at this point.
Okay.
Heimerdinger would
And
be able to tell him, these are good
tell him.
people. You can trust these people. Heimerdinger should have figured that out when he first got there. Like, this was something that I mentioned earlier. Heimerdinger should
Just
have...
because
Wait, let me finish. Heimerdinger should have had this conversation with them once he figured out the situation. Once he realized and came to grips with what was happening, he learns about these people, he finds that he can trust them, he tells them they can start working on this issue years before Echoes even shows up. They could have potentially had the problem fixed and had Heimerdinger back home before Echo even shows up. And then Echo shows up, like, hey, yada yada, this is the situation. They're like, oh yeah, we had a guy here a few years back. We sent him home. Here, click button, here, back. Everything's fixed.
okay.
That should, like, logically, from Heimerdinger's perspective, that should have been what was done.
Well, I mean, okay. I'll come back to Heimerdinger in a minute because I think he has his own special reason for not wanting to do it. But I would just ask you right now two questions to in I guess about what you had to say. First of all, you said that these are good people, you can trust them, so they would help you. Well, to that I just say, I mean, do you think that the nurses and doctors in mental hospitals are good people? I think most of them probably are. Do you think that the families that, commit their family members, into, those hospitals are good people? They probably are, and they're trying to help them. I'm just saying, just
Okay.
because they're good people doesn't mean that something like that they might not do something like that if they thought somebody was delusional, dangerous, crazy, which traveling through time and dimensions seems like something, uh,
In this
that would
world,
get you
yes,
labeled as such.
but there is actual magic in that world.
Do it
Magic is a
do it
known factor in that world. So
Okay.
just because something is impossible and absolutely bonkers crazy in our universe, because magic doesn't exist, would not be quite so far-fetched in that one. They would be like, I don't...
Okay,
And they
well,
might not
I'll
believe them right away, but these are also incredibly intelligent people, and they live right next to Piltover. They would be able to basically prove what they're saying. These are the theories. This is what we were working on. This is what happened. Yada yada. Like, he could start, writing down the formulas that he worked on. Heimerdinger, again, he was there first. He knows more about this shit than anybody, except for Jace and Victor. He would be able to start talking to the other scientists in Piltover, or even Jinx, who is also a crazy smart person, and start going over this stuff, and they'd be like, oh shit, this actually kind of that could work. And then they start working on
Okay.
this problem. Like, yeah,
All
there
right.
would be
Well,
skepticism at first, but like, that's step one. That's not the end game. That's step one.
all right. Well, to that I would just say that Jace and Heimerdinger are pretty much the smartest people that know the most about magic and manipulating the arcane in all of Piltover. And they are amazed and astounded, and they can't believe it whenever they come across what the hell ever time bending arcane magic crap uh, that they came across that caused them to travel through time, that caused them to be possessed by arcane entities, whatever happened there with that. I'm saying they could barely believe it. Who knows if they could recreate it? And certainly none of the
Well, they
other
do.
scientists or anybody. Yeah, but he didn't know if he could. Also, with Heimerdinger, there's also the aspect that he's always been against it, like from the beginning. And then they come to the conclusion, there that they never should have messed with the arcane or anything. So he's still sticking to that. He's had that feeling since the beginning. it makes sense in every way for his character to not want to do it because, oh, we've already screwed things up this bad. If we keep messing with the arcane, we're just going to screw it up more.
Okay, I can accept that if that's a conversation that him and Echo have, but it's not. All he says when Echo gets there is, I looked up this quote and I've already forgotten it. I looked it up at the beginning of the stream. It was yelling from the rooftops about being from an alternate dimension could result in awkward consequences. It was something along those lines.
Okay,
And
well,
that's
that
the
seems to
only
reference what I
discussion.
said and that seems to be what I referenced at first. You know, with
Yeah.
getting you locked up in a mental hospital or something. Um, so yeah, I mean,
That, like I said,
there are definitely reasons. Maybe you don't like the reasons. Maybe you don't agree with Heimerdinger's reasoning, but I don't think that it's far fetched that he would have it.
uh, I feel like he would have ways to prove that he has, like I said, the theory behind it. He doesn't have to help them develop hex tech because they don't have hex tech in that universe. He doesn't have to help them
Exactly,
develop,
which makes it only more impossible for them to understand. But go on.
but he could explain the theory to them. And the theory should still be relatively sound, even if they don't have the hex tech. They don't have the technology to actually implement. So he could still explain the theory behind what was happening. In my universe, we were combining magic and technology. This anomaly occurred, which ripped us from our universe and sent us here. Like I said, magic is not, like, the whole premise is that it's insanity to believe that a magical thing happened in that universe, which is just not true.
No, that's not the premise. The premise is that this magical thing that somebody who is not a mage was able to control magic because remember they don't have hex tech.
Yeah.
So somebody who's
This is
not a mage was able to control magic and was so powerful and great and awesome with magic that you know that they could transport themselves through space and time to
well, no,
another
no, no.
dimension,
They
so on
didn't
and
have
so forth,
control
and
over it.
all
That's the whole
this.
thing. They lost control. And that would line up perfectly with a lot of Piltover's belief and understanding of magic, is that it's an uncontrollable thing. You try to control the uncontrollable, and then that launched you into another universe.
Okay,
Like
but
that would
still,
actually play into their belief of magic even more. It's like, we tried and failed.
yeah, but how much control did they had to have over it before they reached that point to where they pushed it too far to where it got out of control? Like they still had to control it more through the use of hex tech than anybody had ever thought possible before hex tech was created.
Yeah, they just pushed the limits. They pushed the limits further than anybody else had ever done before, but that doesn't mean that it's just a more
Well,
extreme case of what has happened in the past.
yeah, maybe they would believe them, but I don't think it's unthinkable that they wouldn't believe them. And there's still the fact that Heimerdinger thinks that they should have left the arcane alone from the beginning. And you know, it's perfectly plausible for him to be thinking, well, we need to just leave it alone now. We'll live
Well,
out
yeah,
our lives here, not screw up the universe anymore. Like
but
that's still completely
don't you
plausible.
think that he would have an interest in, because Jace existed in this world. He died like Vi did to the explosion in the apartment. That's like the event that diverged these two universes, right? Jace and Vi die. Everything ends up better in this universe. Jace and Vi survive. Everything's fucked up in ours, right? Like that's the diverging point. But
Okay.
Jace still made the crystals. Somehow nobody found them, which I don't really believe that nobody would find these glowing blue shards of a crystal that nobody's ever seen before in his lab. Also, his lab is still apparently just rubble, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. I don't recall that part. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to speak on that too strongly because I can't remember exactly. But yeah, like they either have the crystals in some kind of lockup and then they never tested them to find out what the hell they are, or they're just still in Jace's lab, and Jace's lab all these years later has never been cleaned up, which are both
oh,
kind of
what?
insane, but
Well,
that's a
what if
lesser
there's
thing.
like a what if there's like a third option? What if in this universe, like instead of just like one or two of the crystals exploding, however many it was, I think it was two. What if they like all exploded, which made the explosion more powerful, like powerful enough to actually that Vi and Jace died from it. So maybe there weren't any more crystals left.
No.
Because of that.
They have the shards. That's how Echo goes and gets the shards
Oh
of the crystal.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm talking about. There is the physical shards of the crystal still there. Yeah, the little balls are gone.
Yeah.
The balls, the blue balls are gone, but the shards that are left over were still there. So those either would have been cataloged and locked away forever if they discovered what they were, or they somehow didn't. Like, okay, I'm gonna actually look up the episode real quick. I'm gonna look this up because I want to see exactly what the hell happened
Yeah,
there.
that would be good. I'm actually rewatching it for a second time now, and I'm on episode 6. So I'm like on the episode right before this happens. I wish I'd have went ahead and watched the 7th episode before getting on now. Again.
Okay, so this is when they're already working on it. I should actually have this paused. I should not be letting this fucking play.
Well,
Because copyright.
No, you probably won't get a copyright strike. You'll just get demonetized.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm not monetized anyway. I'm still too babby. Wait, are they actually still just in the apartment? Oh, wait, there's still balls left. Wait. What happens to them? What happens to them? Because it shows them in Jinx's hand as she's cradling Vi's corpse.
Oh, that's right. Remember, there's not balls. He goes back there and he finds the little shards that are
Yeah,
left.
well, that's what I'm saying. But
yeah,
Jinx is also holding 3 full hex crystals in her hands while Vi is dead. So this is after the explosion.
Yeah.
So where did those go? Now he does pull them out of the wall.
Yeah.
He does pull the shards out of the wall. So they I could believe that those got left behind.
Oh, yeah.
But like what I can't believe is that the building just was never repaired in the years since.
Well, I mean, how long has it been though? I don't know.
Well, it's been years, right? Because this is like episode 1. This is season 1, episode 1. This is before the time skip where Powder becomes Jinx and all that. This is years.
And she's grown up, so yeah. I guess it's got to be like, I don't know. How old do you think Powder is? Like in the first 3 episodes, like they never tell you their actual ages.
I would
like,
say I would say 8 to 10.
12.
I was gonna say somewhere between 8 to 10. Okay. And then I was gonna say like 16 or 17. Well, actually, I think we can look these up.
I thought Vi was like, I don't know. I thought of her as like 15, 16 max. Like
episode
15
1
to 16.
Okay, 11 to 12 years old in the first act of season 1. Okay.
Okay. Right, that's
Powder Age Arcane season 2.
Like
17 to 18. So it's been 6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time to leave a building just blown up.
That is kind of hard. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
granted, that's nitpicky. That's not like a major reason. That's not a major issue, but it is a little bit.
I agree. It's not worth complaining about, but it is kind of weird. It is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not even something that I even thought about it until we started having this conversation. It's like, wait, hold up now. Why is this still here like this? But actually, is it a nitpick though? Because if they had repaired that building, he wouldn't have been able to find the crystals, which vastly alters the story.
Well, I mean,
so that actually that actually is no longer a nitpick because it would have major implications on the rest of the story if they actually fix this.
Here's the way that I feel about nitpicky type stuff like this. Like, there are reasons that the building might not have been fixed. There are plausible reasons. Okay, I mean, if there's a plausible reason, and I mean, a show can't explain every little thing. They just don't have enough time. Now if something is completely implausible or impossible, and they don't explain it, then yeah, that's kind of like, yeah.
The building had plot armor.
Yeah, but hey, there you go. The building had plot armor. I'm good with that. That makes sense. Damn it, my phone just died, so I can't see your screen anymore.
Oh no! Actually, I think my phone's dead too.
On my PC.
Oh nope, I'm at 1%. um, but like, so this is a definition that I have started using recently, but I will tell you my definition of nitpick. Nitpick is something in a show that is a flaw. It is an objective flaw, but it doesn't have any impact on the story or the characters. You know, somebody holding a hat in one shot and then they're not holding a hat in the next. That's a continuity error. It is an objective flaw in the show, but it doesn't really matter. It's not like, unless that hat somehow saves their life later or something like that which is ridiculous. Something like that is a nitpick. But if something has potentially major implications on the story later on, if something happens only because this thing was depicted in this way, that is no longer a nitpick in my eyes, because it has impact on the story.
Well, I guess
that building having not been either demolished entirely and rebuilt as a different building or just repaired. I feel like in a city like Piltover that is very wealthy, you know, upper crust, especially Jace's apartment at that time. He was a rich dude. His family owned a fucking smithing firm, and he was being sponsored by one of the council members of the city. He was not a poor person. His apartment would not have been in a poor area of the city. They would have either demolished it and rebuilt it as a different apartment so that somebody else could move in. They would have removed it entirely because it would have been an eyesore for everybody around them, or they would have just repaired the building.
Okay. Let me put forth another possible explanation, you know, and you know, maybe you can agree with it, maybe you can say it's plausible, or that I'm freaking whatever. You know, but they are very, very rich, you know. So what if, you know, his family just owned the apartment that he was living at, and whenever he died, like his mother, like, just didn't want it rebuilt. She wanted to be able to go there to feel closer to her son, or something like that. Some emotional reason that doesn't make sense, but they're rich as fuck, so they can just do whatever they want.
They're just whatever,
whatever they feel like. You know, yeah. What if it's something like that?
I can accept it. I don't like it, but I can accept it.
And that's what I consider a nitpick to me. Like, you know, if there's something that
if it can be explained,
there is a plausible explanation for it, you know, and it doesn't, like, it not being explained, like, isn't like a major issue because there is some reasonable plausible explanation for it, then I will let a show or movie like slide on that. Like, okay, fine, you know, for money reasons or budget reasons or artistic reasons or time reasons or whatever reasons they had, like, they didn't explain this one small little thing, but there's a readily accessible explanation for it, you know, like, I'm fine with that. I can get past it. That's how I feel about that.
That's okay. I will allow it. I will allow
You're
it.
very gracious. You're a very gracious host. Very gracious.
And he does pull the shard, like I said, he does pull the shards out of like cracks in the wall and stuff. So that is stuff that I can believe that were missed. So I will also allow that. Makes me wonder, where did the other 3 balls go?
Well, somebody in chat has said that Powder has the crystals, and she put them in Vi's like memorial or tomb or something like that. I saw.
Look at the very end of the episode. Oh, okay, yeah, I think I just saw that. Let's.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, hey, look, I skipped straight to the fucking shot. But wait.
You know, which
okay.
I guess does make some sense.
Let's see. Not seeing the crystals yet.
Why they hadn't studied them or anything like that.
I see balls, but they look like just wait. Oh, okay, yeah. So she does still have them.
Yep, she's got them right there.
So wait.
She keeps them at Vi's memorial, I guess, just because, you know, she feels responsible. Like, she knows that those that she killed Vi like with those crystals.
Okay,
don't know.
so that would
It
be.
makes sense to me.
They look.
They
Yeah,
look
I can't.
broken.
That's what I'm trying to. I'm like looking at it real. I'm like,
They
do
kind of
they?
look
They
broken,
kind of do look broken.
but if you remember the original ones before they made them
They
into
were all
gems,
cracked and
like
shit.
they were kind of like
Yeah, that's why I
contracted.
was looking at it for a second. I was like, wait, are those
Yeah.
just the cracked gems, or are those actual shards?
It's you can't really determine it.
No, not from this shot. And I don't think we get a better one. I think this is the best one.
Yeah, I would imagine you're right.
Yeah, I do remember this now that I'm seeing it again. I do remember her opening this up, showing this. But would this right here not strengthen the argument that this universe would be more likely to believe them? It's like we refined these crystals into better versions of themselves, and that allowed us to do X, Y, and Z.
But
Because they
don't
have the
know.
crystals.
They nobody know. What if nobody knows that she has them? Like,
But she would know that she has them, and she would be one of the first people that Echo talks to about this.
Unless he's not going to talk to any of them because he doesn't know that she has it, and he doesn't want to be thrown in a freaking mental hospital or whatever the equivalent is in this universe.
But
he doesn't know that there's
he
any
needs
reason for her
to
to
distance
understand
himself.
or believe.
He needs to distance himself romantically from her. Because if he does not, that is fucked up.
I can agree with you that there's a certain degree of fucked upness there, but he's human. Sometimes people's emotions, like, they get caught up in the moment.
I'm not giving that. I will not.
Well, I'm taking it then because I don't think it's egregious. I think it's human.
Oh,
Is it kind of fucked up? Sure, but he's a person.
That is incredibly fucked up.
He's not a saint. He's a person.
That is pretending to be another person to take romantic advantage of somebody else.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what he's doing.
No, it isn't.
He kisses her.
Did he kiss her?
Yes, he kisses her in the... Literally, okay, so that's what...
I told you I needed to watch this episode again.
So,
before,
that's why I hate... So, I didn't actually realize the name of this episode until I pulled it up earlier in the stream. It is disgusting, because he tells her right before they kiss, pretend like it's the first time. Because he's never kissed her, yet he's still pretending to be the person that she loves.
Yeah,
he's not saying don't do this. He's saying pretend like it's the first time to her as she goes to kiss him. That's gross.
Okay.
That is gross.
All right, so you hate Echo. All right.
I hate him after this episode.
All right.
I hate him after this episode because that is a disgusting behavior that he just went into. Like, the thing is, like, Echo is such a good character. He's compassionate, he's caring, loves people. He wants to protect people. And then in this one, he like almost depicted with like all he cares about is what he needs. Now, granted, his goal is to get back to protect people. His goal is to get back to protect people, but he does not push her away. He keeps leading her on, pretending to be this person that she's known her whole life when he's not. Especially after he realized, especially once he learns that there is a romantic aspect to this, that should be an immediate, oh, fuck, I can't do this. That should be immediate. Like, that, He is using somebody else's body to take advantage of their romantic attachments. Like, imagine if somebody just took over your body and then, did that.
I get it. It's fucked up, but
it is wrong. It is morally wrong.
Yeah, it's also a very, very different situation. A situation that you can't possibly imagine accurately being in. Yeah, I will agree with you that it's wrong, but he's a person and he's had a very different, more fucked up life than me or you could ever even imagine having. And he's in a situation that no other person in the history of ever has been in. Like, I don't know. He's a person. It makes him human. He fucked up. It's gross, but he's human and he did it.
And I hate his character after it.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's your prerogative.
that's not a thing that a good character would do. I don't think.
Well,
I do not think a good person would do that.
Well, I don't think that stories, at least not the best stories don't have good characters and bad characters. They have great characters.
I would consider The Lord of the Rings to be a great story, and it definitely has good characters and bad characters.
Okay, how about this? The most compelling and interesting stories don't just have good and bad characters, they have great characters. I will say that.
I will still use Lord of the Rings as an example. It's like, especially like the movies are one of the best trilogies of movies that I've ever seen, especially the extended versions. There are some morally great characters in it, but there is objectively good people and objectively evil people in that story.
Okay, all right. I'll give you. I'll give you that. How about this then? Most of the best stories don't have good and evil characters; they have great characters.
Mm.
I'm going to go with that, and I believe that to be true. I know that that most of the time, whenever you have a side that is objectively good versus a side that is objectively evil, the story falls flat, and the story is not really that good most of the time. It's usually far more interesting whenever you have a bunch of like morally gray characters where
it all depends on
could
execution.
be considered either good or bad, depending on your perspective. Like, that is far more interesting and far more realistic.
It all depends on execution. Like, that's the thing.
Far more relatable.
Jason Vi dying lead to the peaceful timeline. That's how much they screw up. Really? Yeah. But I think that it's very much execution based. This is very poorly executed. I would say that this is very poorly executed. I think that people make decisions that they shouldn't make based on who they are and who they have been established to be. And I also just think that the entire alternate reality didn't need to exist. They didn't need to do that. This entire aspect of nothing happens in this episode that couldn't happen in our timeline. In the base Arcane universe. The only thing that they get out of
actually
wait, let me finish. The only things that occur, the only progress that happens in this episode, Echo gets his time machine bit, and Heimerdinger disappears. Heimerdinger is pulled out of the story, and Echo gets his time machine. Those two things, they could have done that. Huh?
Those aren't the only two things, but go on.
What else happens? The romantic relationship between Echo and Powder? That should not have any bearing in our world.
Echo is given a reason to let go of his hatred for Powder. And if not for that, he would still hate her in episodes 8 and 9, which would, change.
But this is a different person.
And their characters interact. Yeah, but he still sees her as the same person. Like he's still thinking of her as Powder. Okay? It allows him to feel something different for her.
Should he though? Jinx in his reality is a terrible person. She kills a lot of people. I don't think that she should be forgiven.
Saying, well, I do. I think people can change. I think that her character goes through a bunch of fucked up stuff, and she has a nice little character arc where she comes out
still
on the
murdered
other side.
So many people. She has to answer for that. Like, that's the whole bit of Piltover in this entire season, is we want Jinx. She has to pay for the murder of all these people.
Well, I guess ultimately she did, huh? But anyways, my point is, what happened there allows Echo's character to get over his hatred of Jinx. He doesn't hate her in the end because of what happened there. He would still hate her in the end if not for what happened there.
Does
So
okay, wait,
that
but does that change anything? Does his
yeah,
feelings
that
change
changes
anything?
Echo. That changes the story. It echoes character. I mean, does it change what objectively happens? No, but does it change how you feel about Echo? Does it change about how he feels about Jinx? Does it change like your feelings about the situation and the two characters? Like I know that I saw the story unfolding with him getting softer on Jinx and him coming around, to thinking, like maybe she's not so bad after all, and then him like forgiving her. Yeah, that's important for his character, don't you think? I think it is. Like in objective reality, like are the only thing that matter. Like the events that happen and people's feelings don't matter. Then yeah, sure, it doesn't matter in that way. But if that's the way that we're looking at it, then why the fuck are we watching the show?
Well, okay, so first off, um I don't think that just somebody's feel like I feel like there should be at least some kind of tangible result in something that has an entire episode dedicated to it. And if there is another cleaner way, if there is another cleaner way to do that, to get the other benefits of that episode, then it should be done that way. They introduced an entire alternate reality that they didn't need to, because there are ways to get the time travel, there are ways to remove Heimerdinger without going to an alternate reality. It's more difficult, but I don't even see how they got to time travel anyway. That's not what they were trying to do. They were trying to go back to their own universe, and they accidentally invented time travel, which I find a little ridiculous, but I'm not focusing on that right now. What I'm saying is, if the only result that could not have been accomplished by doing this in our reality ends up only having an intangible effect on one character's feelings towards another, which I actually don't even think is warranted, because this is Powder, this is a completely different person. Jinx has still done all the things that she's done. She's killed all of the Fireflies that she's killed. She's killed all the other innocents that she has killed. She has still done all of the horrible, horrible things that she has done. And in the last week, she's been like, I'm a Goodman now because I found a baby. I don't think
I'm pretty sure
I'm being a little bit reductive. I'm being a little bit reductive, and I will admit that. But
you're being very reductive, and there are also more time skips after she finds the baby. So it's not just like a week. But anyways, go on.
But like, one of the major two of the major things that she does are just like blatant terrorist attacks. She blows up 2 buildings in Piltover. She's killed how many of Echo's close friends, his Fireflies, that are all like, this is not just like an army that he's building. These are his friends, and she has murdered them. And then he goes to an alternate reality, meets somebody who is not her, who just looks like her.
Did she really murder them? Did she really murder them?
He says that in season 1. He talks about all of the Fireflies that she's killed.
Okay, but there's a difference between killing and murdering. If the Fireflies are attacking her and Silco and she's battling them, is it really murder if you're just fighting and you kill the other side?
From his perspective, they are the same.
Did she sneak into their bedrooms and slit their throats in the middle of the night? Or
from his perspective, they are the same. She still killed his friends. Whether she legally murdered them, or she just killed them while they were trying to stop her from doing something horrific, like spreading a drug that is the most addictive and crazy drug that's ever been invented, that's not going to change his thought process on this. If you look at it from an objective standpoint, from a legal standpoint, that will have an effect. That does not matter to him.
How can you know that? How can you know that doesn't matter to him? You can
because if somebody shoots my best friend,
No, exactly. You're projecting the way that you feel and what you think onto Echo. Okay? You're projecting
So if
your feelings
somebody
and the way
shoots
that you
your
would
friend,
react onto them. Oh, then that would be me projecting. If
wait,
I
wait, wait.
agree with you
But
that if
like,
somebody shoots
if
my, then
if
that's me
we
projecting
see
the way
somebody
that I feel
acting
onto
this
them.
way, like he hates Jinx for that reason. He hates Jinx in season 1 for that reason. It's why he locks Vi and Caitlyn up, because they were just there with Jinx. And they knocked
Yeah.
their asses out and tied them the fuck up and interrogate them because they were just next to her.
Yes, they hate
Because they hate Jinx because she's killed their friends. It is shown that he hates her for that reason. What do you mean I'm projecting? This is something that is in the show.
No, you're projecting because you're saying this is the way I would feel, and
I
so
am
Echo must feel
relating
that
to the
way. That
character.
that 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 is
It's
projection.
not
But
projection
anyway,
if it's shown in the
she
show.
doesn't say that, or Echo doesn't say that he hates her because she's killed all of his friends in that whenever he captures Vi and Caitlyn. What he says is that she is with Silco now and she's lost. She's just with him by choice. It's because she's with Silco that she hates him. That they're on different sides. Go find it. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't recall
trying
him
to. I don't
saying
know
that
which
he
episode it's in.
hates her because that would have been episode 5, I
Is it
believe.
5?
Because the first 3 they're still kids, and then episode 4, yeah, it's episode
Is it 5?
5.
Okay. I
Yeah,
was figuring
episode
5 or
5.
6. All right.
Episode
Pause.
5, like the first half, I'm pretty sure, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes in.
Wait,
Like.
there's
Maybe longer
Jinx,
than
and she's back in her lair. Okay, okay, so it would actually be in the second half? Or maybe it's the very beginning of chapter 6, or episode 6.
that. I don't think so. I think you already passed it. I think.
Wait. That's her fighting Savika. Does that happen afterwards? I'm not seeing anything with Echo at all in this episode, actually.
Maybe. All right, go try.
Maybe it is
episode
6.
Then. Maybe
Yeah, I think it might be 6.
Yeah, my bad.
Pause again. Flashback. By the way, I much prefer the flashbacks that they introed each episode in season 1 to the music videos that they added in season 2. Please stay on the thing. Wait. Okay, so it's the first bit of episode 7.
Wow.
Because
really?
episode, yeah, I knew that the fight,
off.
I knew that the fight was at the end of the episode, and then okay, so yeah,
right
it's the beginning.
Crash the tower, the sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's Boy Savior. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess because they're starting Echoes.
Yep. Story. All right. So.
All right.
Let's see what exactly. So I'm gonna try to go back. Okay, so that's telling me that your lunatic sister works for him. So okay, that was Caitlyn. Back Long Stone. They're still talking. They've got the bags over their faces.
Okay, yeah, he should be coming to get Vi now.
Yeah. Just trying to. Here, I'm just gonna. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Oh fuck! Of course it goes to the intro.
You know, fair use is supposed to allow you to show things like
I don't trust it.
And disgusting. Yeah,
I don't trust it.
I'm just saying. You know,
because YouTube is great about.
Yeah.
YouTube is great about.
I know I've been hit on a lot of things whenever
guilty until proven innocent.
Whenever I was making videos about the new Fallout show, like I actually got a lot of like copyright messages about that, but then I was able to clear them all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me by.
I skipped. Wait, can you? No. I hate that it's 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm
change
behind you. Yeah, like 10, 15, 20 seconds after you do.
Are you working for Silco?
I don't think it's now that it's later on whenever they're like out looking at the tree or something, I think, when they talk about
Is it?
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't remember the way that this scene goes. So like if I'm wrong, like it's still pretty like I would still say that it's fairly it's not straight
I
up
mean,
said.
we,
Like I
we
think
are
that I think
arguing
this
a very fine point here. I will say that.
all right.
Like, there's not a whole lot of
Yeah, and
difference
then it goes to
between.
Singed and Victor.
Yeah.
Victor's such a good character.
Oh, I love Victor. Yeah, he is a great character.
Also, shot of Mel, hottest character in the show.
I disagree with you, but okay.
Oh, Mel is definitely, especially when she has all the gold on her.
She's the most beautiful character in the show. I'll give you that, but I don't think she's the hottest.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that burned to death, so yeah. All right, so we're back in Vi and yada yada. Single seed. You built all this. Did we? You didn't care what it did to him. Everyone here was an addict or a victim. Okay. Flooded lines. Okay.
February's coming up.
Yeah, I wish I could just. Actually, is there just a transcript? Arcane season 1 transcript. Yeah. Can I just look up the transcript? That would make this so much.
Yeah, there's definitely a transcript.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have the visuals to be able to find your place, but so
yeah, but like it's the lines that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go to episode 7. Oh wait, no, season 1, episode 7.
Are we actually arguing again? Because I've kind of forgotten.
So we were originally
but I've kind of forgotten what we were.
So the argument was originally should Echo's mind have been changed on Jinx based on his relationship with Powder in the alternate universe? And I'm saying that it should not, because they are completely different people.
Oh, to be clear, I don't think that that's the only thing that changed it, but I think that that's the thing that allowed it to be changed. That's what the catalyst was for it to be changed. I don't think there was any way it could have been changed without that.
Episode 7. Okay, it's in a PDF now. I can just Control F. Jinx. 56 times. All right, time to, or no, sorry, 18.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I just Control F to Jinx, and it's 18 times in that. 56-page script, though. Okay. Powder's gone, Vi. All that's left is Jinx, and she belongs to Silco. You're wrong. She's still in there. I can reach her. You can't. Got one more thing to show you.
See,
the price of our freedom. Some of it. Wait. The price of our freedom. Some of it was Enforcers. Most was Silco. Yeah. Your sister works for him not because she has to, but because she wants to. I'm sorry, but that's who she is now. So, like, she's a collaborator with this guy.
That's who she is now. So if he can come to see that that's not who she is, if she changes from that person so that she's not that person anymore who works for Silco, then he could see her.
Does that just erase everything that she's done, though?
Maybe it doesn't erase everything that is done, but I mean, you can forgive people. You said he's a good person, except for that one thing he does that you don't like. Good people.
Yeah, the rapey bit.
Don't they tend towards forgiveness?
If the other person deserves it.
Well, I mean,
like some people, like I'm sorry, I don't care how good a person Hitler may have become later in life. He's never getting forgiven.
Really? We're gonna go and compare her to Hitler.
Well, okay, it's an extreme example. It's an extreme example.
Come on.
Wait. Extreme examples are useful to showing cracks in logic. it is an extreme example. I went to an extreme example on purpose. I'm not comparing her to that.
Okay, but what you're trying to
like
okay,
what I'm
well,
saying is, once you've done so much, you become unforgivable. I do
well,
believe that there are limits to forgiveness.
okay, is forgiveness objective or subjective?
It would be subjective. It's per person, and I like
Okay, so then your limits are
would
not
not be somebody
necessarily the
else's.
same
Yes,
as Echo's.
I understand that.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'm not. Yes, but I'm saying that like, what do you think his line would be?
You mean what do I think? I
What
don't
do you
understand.
think his line would be to forgive Jinx?
Like what he would say to her?
No, not like where his line is,
I don't know, but
because she has killed his friends.
Apparently the writers who wrote the characters think that it would be what happened in the show.
I am a strong and firm believer in death of the author. What they intend versus what they show in their works, one is far more important to me than the other, and it is not what they intend.
All right.
My favorite example of that, have you seen The Suicide Squad?
Well, there you go. You're far more critical than I am, I guess.
Wait.
I'm willing to give a little bit of leeway and leniency, and you're just
Well, no.
very
What I'm saying
extremely
is,
rigid.
what is in the work trumps everything. If somebody says something that directly contradicts what is in their work, I don't care what they say, because the work is its own thing.
Okay, so,
my example with The Suicide Squad. Do you know? Have you seen that movie?
yeah, I've seen the movie.
Okay. Do you remember Polka Dot Man?
They made 2 Suicide Squad movies, so maybe
The
it was in
the
I
second
didn't
one,
see.
the one versus Starro, not the shitty one
No,
with Will Smith.
No, I didn't see the second one.
Oh, I would actually recommend it.
I think I saw the beginning of the second one.
The Suicide Squad is a billion times better than Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is the first one. It was bad. The Suicide Squad is really good. And deserves to be watched.
I didn't see the whole thing.
So in that movie, there's a character called Polka Dot Man. He is introduced as kind of a joke character. What is your superpower? Do you shoot polka dots? He's just like, hey, yeah. And that is his power. Unfortunately for everybody that he shoots them at, they basically melt people whenever they hit them. It is horrifyingly strong. But he has, they explore his character quite a bit. He has a very tragic backstory. His mother experimented on him and all of his siblings. Most of them died. He's one of the few that survived. She was trying to create a superhero. He has horrific trauma based on his upbringing. He's at one point, it shows his viewpoint, like from his point of view, and every single person becomes his mother as that person. It's a very funny visual, because you have King Shark, and it's just a shark person, but it's just like an old fat mom, but a shark person. All of the other characters in the Suicide Squad, it's all just transposed onto, or his mom's face and body is transposed onto those characters. It's a very funny visual, very tragic reality, right?
Okay.
Literally seeing the face of the person who tortured you throughout your entire childhood, literally on every single person that you ever meet. Horrifying reality.
Okay.
He dies at the end of the movie, spoilers. Immediately after celebrating the fact that he has finally done some good and has become a superhero. His last line is literally him screaming, "I'm a superhero!" And then he gets crushed. He's a very tragic character, a very empathetic character. He actually has quite a bit of sympathy for the other characters. The writer and director of the movie says that he's a narcissist. He has gone on record saying that that character is a narcissistic character. He only cares what other people say about him. However, that is directly contradicted by everything in that movie. That is probably the strongest example I have of why I believe in death of the author. Because what he says about that character has nothing to do with how that character is actually portrayed in the movie.
All right. Okay. So
It's a
let me
long
ask you
example and a long explanation, but that's where I'm
well,
coming from.
let me ask you this: if tomorrow or next week or next month, whenever they 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 released the extended edition director's cut of that movie, and it has scenes in there that portray him as a narcissist, and those were and so that was the way it was originally written, but just in the end product they cut those scenes out, and now you have this version of it where you can see those scenes and you can see that he's a narcissist. Would that change the way that you feel?
Um, at that point, my brain would basically just separate them into two separate movies. Because that is such a drastic change in one of the characters that it would pretty much not be reconcilable with the other version. And the only way that I could figure him doing that would basically be after every single interaction that he has with another person where he shows any empathy whatsoever, he just goes, just has like a little evil laugh or something. Like that's how clownish I think it would have to be for them to actually portray him as that. So I like if that were to end up being part of another work, I would separate out those works. Because as of now, that doesn't exist. That version of the movie does not exist. If it did,
or it does exist and it just hasn't been released.
Then
because they deleted the scenes, so it still exists. It just hasn't been released. It was the way it was originally intended, but just whoever made the cuts at the end were like, and they cut all that crap out. Anyways, my point is, what if that's the same thing here? Because we already know that they didn't put it in enough episodes. We already know that they didn't have, enough. That they didn't have enough seasons. What if they had all this stuff in there and, the people who make the money or make the calls or whatever told the writers and the people who are actually producing the show, no, you got to like cut all this crap out that, actually shows that. But that was the way that it was intended.
Well, I might piss some people off with this, but I don't think that matters. The end product that we get as consumers, that is the thing that's important. What was intended by the writers and the producers, that is irrelevant because unless it is released later on, in which case I can reevaluate. I might have to do what I said I would do with the Suicide Squad in your example and separate them out into two separate works. But the only thing that really matters is what we see, what we get as people. As the audience, as the consumers of the product is what matters.
And that is a perfectly fine opinion for you to have.
Like, because like if you're doing all this stuff, what you're basically doing is you are inventing scenes that may exist, but we have no evidence and no real reason to believe that they exist. They are things that you have invented in your mind at this point.
Yeah, headcanon. You never headcanoned anything before?
I try not to.
I think that creators pretty much force us to headcanon stuff anytime they make almost anything.
There is
certainly with video games, I would say it's much less prevalent with movies and shows, but it is still there in movies and shows, and with video games, yeah, it's
I don't think that well-written things. I feel like well-written, like the less headcanon you are required to have is an indicator of how well-written a thing is. The less headcanon you're required to have just shows that, like, the worse the thing is, the more headcanon it requires. I would say. I feel like that's.
I mean,
it's an inverted relationship.
I wouldn't say the worse it is. I would just say the more incomplete it is. And we know that Arcane Season 2 is definitely incomplete.
Well, apparently not, because they wanted it to be 2 seasons. Like, this was what they intended. They intended for 2 seasons. They just didn't do Season 2 very well.
Yeah, the people who call the shots intended for that. But I don't necessarily
the director or wait, who was it again? I looked it up just a minute ago, or not a minute ago. Arcane supposed
No,
to
okay.
be
The
5
director wanted
seasons.
it to be 2 seasons. That's fine. They planned it for 2 seasons. Then after it's planned for 2 seasons, the people who are above the director come in and say, "Well, we need you to shoehorn all this stuff in for spin-offs and for the video game and all of this stuff." And the only way they can get to the required number of seasons and episodes that it's already planned to be is for them to take all of this writing and stuff that they have and cut it out. So it was still intended to be the other way, and that's where you got to kind of head canon stuff. They could not, because of reasons that were beyond their control, include everything that they originally intended, and that's how I like to think of it.
I
So
mean,
then it requires head canon.
but like that's not something that we know is the truth.
No, we don't know it's not the truth.
And but okay, wait. You're asking for evidence of absence.
No, I'm not asking for evidence.
Well,
You're asking for evidence of absence.
No.
You're the
I'm
one
asking,
who needs the evidence.
No.
No, you need the evidence.
You have to
I don't need
prove
the
that
evidence. I'm
something
okay.
exists.
I don't have to prove it. I don't have to prove it. You want me to prove it for your own edification.
No.
For your own reasons.
I am
for your
judging
own personal
the
beliefs.
show on what we got. You are assuming that there are other aspects of this that may have changed it and may not have. We have no evidence that any of that happened.
I'm giving the creators leeway because I believe that there is reasonable doubt that there probably was more to it than this, and they just couldn't include it. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I agree with you that the show could have been better in a lot of ways. That they rushed a lot of stuff, that they shoehorned a lot of stuff. I agree with you with all that. The only thing is, I'm not saying that season 2 sucked because of it, and I'm not saying that whoever created it sucked because of it. I'm giving them the leeway, and I'm choosing to enjoy the show because I enjoyed the show, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to enjoy the spinoffs whenever they come out.
Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy the show. I've enjoyed multiple aspects of season 2. I enjoyed the fight scenes, a lot of them.
Maybe we should talk about what we
once I started thinking about them, they didn't make a whole lot of sense, but like that's the thing. I have to like basically remove all context from these scenes to be able to enjoy them. Once I start thinking about them in any real way, they start breaking down.
All right. Well, I'm just saying that to me and probably to a lot of your viewers, it definitely seems like you didn't like season 2. And if you really did like it and you really did enjoy it, well, then okay.
I did not like it. I did not like it. I think it's objectively bad. I think it is an objectively bad, especially compared to the first season. Which actually that would not be objective. That would be subjective because we're comparing one thing to another.
Yeah. I think it's subjectively great. Is it as good as the first
fine.
season? No. But the second season is still freaking awesome, and I loved it. There were a lot of things they could have done better. It should have been so much longer. They should have excluded some things. They should have added in other things. They could have done it all a lot better. But what they gave us was still a hell of an enjoyable story and trip, and I enjoyed all of it. Even with the problems that it had. And I'll definitely be watching any spinoffs that they have. And I don't know. Maybe one day they'll make a season 3. They'll go back and they'll be like, "Yeah, you know what? We should have added another season, and we'll get something else." Or maybe they'll just do a remake or something. I think a remake would be better than adding something else because they.
I don't know if they're gonna reach season 1 again though. Like even if they do a remake, I feel like it will be like because like here's the thing. Season 1 is one of the best seasons of television I've seen. It's
amazing.
It is one of my favorites. I think it is objectively one of the best written seasons of TV that I've ever seen. I think remaking that is a mistake. I think remaking season 1 is going to be a mistake because I don't think that they're going to be able to do better. I think that any remake of season 1 is going to be a downgrade because of how good season 1 already is. I think if they make changes to it, it is far more likely than not that they will make it worse.
Well, I think it very unlikely that they will remake either season 1 or season 2.
No.
I agree with you. They should leave season 1 alone. down, maybe 10 years from now or 15 years from now, I could see them maybe remaking season 2 or something. Like if this turns into like a mega popular hit, maybe they go back and they find all those old notes and all the stuff they were made to cut out and they add to it, and they fix a bunch of this stuff, that they weren't able to fix. I hope that they
They
do.
do. They should
But
get rid of the alternate reality episode. Get rid of it.
yeah, well, maybe they will. I don't think that they will.
Or
but
here's
maybe they
another
will.
thing. Here's the easiest fix in the universe for that episode. You know what you do? You don't have them take over their alternate selves' bodies. If
Did
you
they
just do that,
take over their alternate selves' bodies? I thought they just like took their alternate selves' places.
no, they
I
take
mean, I
over
guess
their
it's kind of-
bodies because their
I guess it's
appearance
kind of
changes.
tomato.
Echo's appearance changes. He takes over that other person's body.
I mean,
If they just show up as separate entities that look identical to entities in that universe, imagine, again, all of the interesting conversations that the two Heimerdingers could have with one another, or the two Echoes could have with one another. And B, that gets rid of the icky bit of Echo and Powder. That's just gone. That's not an issue anymore. Like, that's the only thing that they needed to do.
Well, I'll say this: I hope that they definitely have a alternate reality, interdimensional, time traveling, whatever you want to call it, spin-off where some more of this stuff is explained.
Vomit.
Nope. I freaking love it.
Disgusting.
I hope they're almost
Disgusting.
certainly going to do it, because why do you think Heimerdinger just disappeared and then that's it? Guarantee
fucking clue.
he disappeared and that's it,
He
because
didn't do much in this season.
because we're getting a spin-off of Heimerdinger where they're going to explore all this interdimensional travel and stuff.
Yeah, they weren't really doing anything with him anyway.
It's almost certain. Almost certain. Heimerdinger, by the way, just a fun fact that nobody really gives a shit about, but Heimerdinger was my favorite character to play whenever I played League of Legends.
I have roughly 2 hours in League of Legends ever, so I don't... My favorite... Well, actually, that's not quite true. I played a little bit more League. I played a Mumu and Cho'Gath. Those are my 2 characters.
Yeah.
I was shit. I was fucking terrible with both of them, but those were the 2 characters I played.
I mean, I played...
I had the little knight skin for a Mumu. I had the knight skin for a Mumu. That's the only skin I bought.
I never bought any skins.
You want to know why I quit League? Well, it is absolutely... So a lot of people would be like, the fucking fan base is toxic, everybody sucks, everybody's mean as hell, the game's hard as hell, the game sucks. None of that. The reason I quit League was because I found out that Rammus has a Bowser skin, and I wanted that skin so bad, and then I found out that the only way that you could get it was by playing the beta. You could not get it after the game was actually released. So I was like, fuck this, I'm never playing this game again, and I never did. I was so salty that I couldn't get my Bowser skin that I quit the game forever.
Yep.
That was my experience with League before I watched Arcane.
Nice. I played for a while. Probably about 1,000 hours, but it was way back in like 2013 or so.
Yeah, that's about my Dota 2 time. I went to Dota 2.
I played the original Dota, which is why I went to League of Legends, because I was like, holy shit, this is Dota whenever I found out about it. But yeah, I remember playing Dota like back in like 2002, 2003. I freaking love that game. I bet I played 10,000 hours of it. Maybe not 10,000, at least 4,000 or 5,000 hours. Like, I would play that shit from dusk till dawn. I was a teenager back then, so if I wasn't at school,
didn't have anything to do. Yeah.
If I wasn't at school or at work, I was playing freaking Dota on World War or Warcraft 3 custom map Dota. Yeah, and that was the best. That was the best.
I was talking about this a little bit in my earlier stream tonight. My addiction was WoW.
Well, yeah,
that was my addiction.
I played more WoW than any other game, and probably more than most other games combined.
Yeah, same. Same. Yeah. I have over a year of playtime in my WoW account.
Yeah,
like
well,
365 total days of in-game playtime.
I got my account suspended multiple times.
Cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating.
because I would cheat. I would download bot programs to play my character for me while I was at work because I had a job where I had to work like 70 hours a week. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I got to level. I got to play. So I would like,
That's
yeah.
when you know
And
the addiction is
I
real.
got my I got my account suspended multiple times for that. Um, yeah. Well,
Oh,
complete like suspended like not temporarily suspended. Like that's it. I had to go out and buy a new copy of the game. And make a new actual account.
yeah.
I got it
That's like,
suspended temporarily a couple of times for buying gold. But yeah,
and now they just
now you can buy
now you can
anything you
buy
want in the game,
basically
but
anything. Yeah.
but you have to buy it by paying Blizzard, not
Yep.
Chinese gold farmers.
Yep.
By the way, there's this freaking hilarious song
The
called
fucking
"Ni Hao" by Nilma Valeria.
uh,
Ni Hao. It's a song about Chinese gold farmers. It is one of the funniest songs I've ever heard like in my life. Like period. It's what wow machinima. I used to listen to a lot of that, but yeah. Anyways, that was amazing song.
Is there a moment when fan fiction is better written than the original source material that inspired it? I'm sure there has been examples. I don't know any off the top of my head. I don't really read fan fiction.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be.
I don't know anything about League lore, but based on Arcane Season 1, I would say that Arcane Season 1 is fan fiction, technically, that is better written than League lore.
I mean, I would imagine League lore is, just like regular lore. Like, it doesn't really tell stories. Like, it just kind of, like, gives you information as a backdrop about the game.
Well, because, like, I know that each of
Definitely
the like all of the 50
story.
billion heroes that they have at this point, they all have their own lore and background and story and origins and everything. Like, there is actual lore to League. I do know that much. I don't know how high quality it is. And Arcane Season 1 is incredibly high quality.
Yeah. I would imagine the League lore is very basic and not much of like interpersonal stories or anything. Like I would imagine it's like most video game lore, like lore that you find for for the Elder Scrolls and Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff like that, or like the
Look,
lore.
the only lore that I care about in Skyrim is the Lusty Argonian Maid. All right, I don't care about any of the rest of it.
Well, I mean that might be that might be the best book, but it's definitely not the best lore.
Was it a bad idea to kill off Isha, especially when her sacrifice meant nothing? It was just a repeat of what came before. I forgot that happened. I forgot that happened, actually.
Yeah, I will say that bothered me because they make it like this big moment
where nothing happens.
She's sacrificing herself to, save them all and kill Vander,
Warwick. Not Warwick.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. She sacrifices herself to kill him, and then it's like a big deal. But nothing. She didn't actually kill him. I don't see how she saved anybody. It was, I don't know.
She just exploded herself. She's like, I don't know, fuck it. I'll give this a shot.
I mean, on the other hand, it's probably what a 12-year-old kid would have done if a 12-year-old kid was trying to sacrifice herself. Like, yeah, I'm gonna sacrifice myself and save everybody. Well, you died, kid, but you didn't
died for nothing, you dumbit. Well, wait, did she knock out Warwick with that, which then allowed him to be machinified? Isn't that what allowed Ambessa and Victor and them to connect him up with, or sorry, not Victor, Singed to connect him up with Victor and get him all robotified? Isn't that what happened?
I mean, it could have been. I don't remember that being shown like that.
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, I guess you can connect the dots there though for that to make some sense.
Yeah, it might not have been shown
being shown
specifically, but I kind of, if it wasn't, I kind of assumed that that's what happened. In which case, good job, Isha. You fucking almost killed us all.
Yep.
Well done, girl.
Realistic.
You gave the enemies a weapon.
Yeah. Yep. 12-year-old kid tries to save everybody by killing herself and instead
fucks it all up.
Killed.
Stupid child. Maybe
the
hot take. Maybe the real mistake was Jinx should have let those goons kill her. Would have saved the world. Would have saved the world.
Maybe we'll get a spin-off where they go to an alternate reality where Jinx let them kill Isha and we'll get to see. or maybe
That would be
Jinx
the
died at some. Yeah,
the kid dies and like war ends as a concept.
the
It's
angels
just
descend
like,
from the heavens
yeah,
and
they're
lift
like, you
everybody
have
up
made
into
the
the
correct
golden light.
decision. Welcome children to paradise.
Yep.
It's like, good, we got this little gremlin out of here. We can fucking finally have peace.
Yeah. Then at the very end of that that season of the spinoff, they can be like, "You're welcome, Pandor. Make that
We did it.
interdimensional travel
We killed
episode
him.
just for you."
Uh,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go. It's already 12:30.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I'm literally, normally I'm like 2.5 hours into my work night, but I have tonight off because of the holiday.
Yeah.
I figured
Well,
tonight would be a good day to bitch and moan about this terrible fucking TV show.
yeah, I had plans to go and play a video game and make a video about it, but
You
I don't
heard
know.
me.
I freaking love Arcane, and I got on, and you were talking
I
too much
did.
shit, so I had to at least try to combat it a little bit. At least maybe I changed one or two people's mind out there.
You
Saved
pointed
them
out
from
some
your
things that
rhetoric.
I had missed, and you definitely convinced me on a couple of things. But I still overall think that season 2 is an insane downgrade from season 1.
I think it
Like
is.
crazy levels of downgrade from season
1. I think the story is a very, very large downgrade from season 1. I think in pretty much every other respect, it's either as good or almost as good as season 1. But what really matters is, what do the viewers out there think? Do they agree with you or me, or probably have their own opinions?
Leave your comments
and think
down in the comment section below.
And they think we're both stupid.
Maybe. I had one guy come in earlier and he just straight up called me a bad faith actor.
Yeah.
Like he just immediately, like he was definitely against me from the get-go, but he was like, why don't you have your own opinions and stop parroting other people, just stop regurgitating other people's thoughts on it. I'm like, well, fucker, I haven't even seen half of their shit. What are you talking about? And then he vanished. He went away when I was like, called him out on it.
Well, that's what it's like. If you do something that's opinionated on YouTube, you definitely get that. Like whenever I made videos about the Fallout TV show, like holy shit, I got more hate over that than you combine the other 3+ years of videos I've made like all together. Like the first 3 days that video was out, I got more hate about that, and more people like threatening me and like speaking to me in terrible ways.
Did you like Fallout or no?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I think it was 1,000 times better than I thought they were going to make it. Like I thought they were going to screw it up like they did Fallout 76. But yeah, it was phenomenal.
I'm gonna link you a video. I'm gonna link you a video. I want you to watch it and get back to me on what you think.
All right, yeah,
It's like
I'll watch it.
50 minutes or something like that.
I don't know. I wasn't gonna make a video on it, but I made a video on it because after the show completed, like I was on like YouTube, and like just freaking everywhere, there were videos about how shitty it was. And I go and I listen to like the videos, and I listen to their explanations of why it's shitty, and it's like none of this stuff makes any sense. Like that's not true. Maybe that is true, but guess what? We're only like 20% of the way through the show, so we don't actually know if it's true or not. Let them finish the fucking show before. Anyways, yeah. Most of it was just flat out wrong, and most of the stuff that was not just flat out wrong or untrue or didn't make sense, like it could easily be explained, and to me seemed likely to be explained in future seasons. It's like they're 1/5 of the way done. They're planning 5 seasons. Like any of this stuff
Are they though?
could be explained. Well,
are they though?
We'll see. That's what they said. I think
I thought that Arcane was
will.
supposed to be 5 seasons. I was fucking wrong.
Yeah. Well, I trust myself to be more right than you were.
Wow. Fine.
Yeah. Hell, even if it's only 3 seasons, they're only 1/3 of the way done. Even if they cut it a couple of seasons short, I think that whenever Fallout 5 comes out, that's when it's going to end. it's going to end either right before or right after Fallout 5 comes out, so that they can use that as a way to sell more Fallout 5 games.
Oh god, are they actually
And
making a Fallout 5?
yeah, they've come out and they've said that it is the next game after Elder Scrolls 6, which they're currently working on.
Which
Elder
will be
Scrolls
out in
6,
2037, so we'll get Fallout
well,
5 by like 2050. Gotcha.
yeah, well, if, if you want to be butthurt about it, then yes,
I don't.
and I agree with that.
I
It's
actually don't
beyond
care.
ridiculous. I do.
I just like to meme on it. It's fine.
I expect it 2027 or 2028, and then Fallout 5 probably like 2030 or 2031.
Yeah, like I put a lot of hours in Skyrim, but I
Who
haven't
actually
cared
knows?
about those games in so long.
Really?
Yeah, I
I
played
love
through.
the games. I love the. I love
Like I
the
got
lore.
like 300 hours in Skyrim. I have quite a bit of time in Skyrim, but I just once I was done with it, I just never went back, and I was just like, I'm okay with it. I'm done with this. It's fine.
Really, more than Skyrim, I love the lore. Like going and watching the lore videos that people have created. It's actually the reason why I created Lore Spire, because I wanted to make videos like some of these other people were making lore for Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls and similar games. Like that was the original intent behind it, but then I got wrapped up in doing a whole lot of other stuff and never really got around to that. But anyways, yeah, the Elder Scrolls lore is just amazing, and that's what I love about it. And why I'm anxious to see if Elder Scrolls 6 is just going to fuck the franchise up worse, or if maybe they're going to get back to it maybe being a little bit better. I have a feeling that they're gonna screw it up worse, just because worse is what gets more sales. So that's probably what'll happen. But I'm hopeful. I got my fingers crossed. Maybe, probably not.
I have no more hope.
Probably not.
My last hope was Arcane Season 2. It was destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I still have Fallout 5. I actually expect Fallout 5 to be freaking amazing. Mostly because it's not an online MMO like Fallout 76, which they totally screwed up. But because it's not an online MMO, and Bethesda themselves will be making it, and all the other Fallout games they've made have been awesome, I expect it to be awesome.
I hope it's
Hopefully,
good.
I'm not.
I hope it's good for your sake. I probably won't play it.
Me too.
I didn't play it. I didn't play Fallout 4. I have like 2 hours in Fallout 4.
Oh, really? Fallout 4 is so good.
I got to the base building bit, and I was like, I don't wanna. So I just stopped. I know I could probably just avoid that and just ignore it, but I was like, I just don't care.
I actually like base building, but I have had playthroughs where I never even go and save Preston Garvey. Like, you don't even have to go save him.
I don't even remember who that is.
I
play the game.
He's the guy that gives you the first base building quest.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. I played that game when it first came out. I haven't touched it since. I don't remember shit.
He's the really, really annoying guy. I figured you would at least know the memes of him, because him telling you like every 5 minutes that there's another settlement that you need to save is like,
Jesus.
Yeah, it was like a really, yeah, he's the most annoying. You'll get like a radio call from him once you get a few settlements up, like very, very, very frequently, and he's just like, yeah, you've got to go save this settlement, they're being attacked, and eventually you're just like, fuck it, let them all die, I don't care.
Oh, see, that's when I go back and I put a bullet in his head so it stops.
They made him unkillable. He's invulnerable. He's like,
oh god,
he's like the one essential NPC in the game. I think there might be like one or two others.
Disgusting.
But
so he's like Lindsay. He's like Lindsay. He's that game's Lindsay.
I hate Lindsay.
She survives in the speedrun now. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
We skipped the cutscene where she dies, so she's just standing there in the room forever.
That's sad.
She's just stuck in the house at the edge of time for all eternity.
I mean, I'm fine with her being stuck for all eternity, except that I don't get to see her die, and that's kind of disappointing.
I mean, when she died, she becomes a book, and then she gets brought back to the real world. And then she gets to experience the real world for all eternity. Now she's stuck in that fucking shitty Fey realm.
Yeah,
Forever.
I guess that's better. I guess she'd probably kind of like being a book. Yep.
You gonna pop off?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I was about to say, you were like, yeah, I'm gonna leave. It's like almost 12:30, and then 20 minutes later,
Fallout,
20 minutes later, we're still yapping about nonsense.
know, if you get me on a topic that I enjoy or
I
care about,
I definitely
I
am
could
the
talk
same
for
way.
forever. The other night, I was playing Enshrouded with some people, and one of them like got me talking about and I don't want to cause any issues on your show, so I won't say what we were talking about. But they got me talking about something that I'm kind of passionate about. It was like 12, and I said I was leaving. Then we got to talking about that at 5:30 in the morning. I finally left. Yeah. I got like 3 hours of sleep, and the kids woke me up. I was freaking dead all day. But yeah, if you get me talking
Leave me
about something
alone.
I actually care about, then I'll freaking talk forever, which probably isn't great. So, anyways,
I definitely have
um,
a couple of topics like that as well.
yeah. Well, it was fun. It
Yeah,
was
it was
fun.
good talking to you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, yeah, it's been quite a while, quite a while. If you ever want me to come back on and argue with you again, just shoot me a message.
we'll have to we'll have
I'm
to
up for it.
I'll have to watch Fallout, and then I'll have to hate Fallout so we can have this conversation again, but about Fallout.
All right, all right. Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know if you know enough about Fallout lore
I don't know shit about Fallout lore.
yeah, but you could probably go and watch one of the thousands of hate videos for the show, and just kind of learn the talking points that are wrong, mind you, the wrong talking points, but you could still learn them to argue with me on.
All right. I'll do
Anyways,
my
yeah.
research. I'll do my research on hate. And then
All
we can
right.
talk about this again.
Sounds good. Catch you later.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I'll
bye.
talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it was fun. Bye.
All right. Unplanned debate phone call. Hell yeah. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. That was a good time. I am also kind of running out of steam though. So I do think that we are going to call it here. I definitely haven't talked about all of the stuff. They made season 2 just to make the audience cry. That's their reason. Yeah. Oh no, the mass murderer died at the end of the season. Unfortunate. Yeah, I'm gonna go. But before I go, the person that was just on the call with me, I don't know, I think I mentioned his name a few times. That was Lorespire. He is on YouTube. He does stream quite often. He does a lot of RPGs and stuff like that. I met him through Pathfinder, Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous. We were both playing that, and we met through a common friend who no longer streams. But yeah, he's a good guy. If you want to go check him out, he's on YouTube. He streams on YouTube. He uploads videos on YouTube and all that good stuff. So go check him out. And next time you'll see me is on Friday. I'll be streaming again. This will be back at my normal time. And I will be doing more Pathfinder Kingmaker Lantern King speed. Hoping to actually finish my second run for the first time in a month. And then on Saturday, I'll be doing my Loader Woder playthrough where Aragorn and Frodo, only Aragorn and Frodo, because all the other hobbits are dead, try to fight Monago at the end of the Grey Garrison on Unfair. It is a very difficult fight, and we die all the time. So, hooray! But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out and talking. A lot of good points made on both sides, I think. I wait this. Bye-bye.